One.
Let's go!
This show fucking stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it.
AJ, you never cease to amaze me with your toxicity, pal.
You got a couple of these?
God damn it!
What the fuck are you doing?
Fuck Boston College.
Jesus. We're live. Hello, beautiful people. Had a little cat scratch my throat, but it's Winter Wednesday, November 2nd, 2022. This sports show starts right now. Football is a glorious sport. Football has a lot of conversation around it right now. More specifically, trade deadline was yesterday. 12 people were moved just yesterday. It was a massive day for the NFL, a very active day for the NFL. Got to learn about which teams are going to go and which teams said no. College football playoffs official rankings were dropped for the first time last night. We'll have Reese Davis join us in 17 minutes to break that down. He is the man, the voice of the college football playoff rankings. He's the one on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. on ESPN alongside Joey Galloway, David Pollock, Bear, Kirk Herbstreit.
Yep.
I believe mostly everybody from the College Game Day crew was there. That's how I learned of this show. Good show. Tells you everything you need about basically every team.
Right.
The first college football playoff rankings were dropped last night. A lot to discuss. We will certainly do that in 16 minutes. Dahn Snyder is potentially looking into selling the Commanders. Woo. He has hired the Bank of America securities firm to judge potential interest in the team and how much he would make if he was to sell the whole thing. A conversation that isn't happening, that should be happening, is, remember, Dahn Snyder bought out all his minority owners like less than a year ago. Mm-hmm. So he owns that thing outright. He could just be looking in to sell like 30% of this team, still keep 70% of the team, and have more cash in his pocket than every other owner in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
That isn't, thinking about selling their team. So Dahn Snyder probably going to use this to end up winning in the end and dancing in everybody's face. But a lot of people out of the Washington Commanders fan base, formerly the Washington football team's fan base, formerly the Washington Beeps fan base.
Sure.
They're loud, thinking that Snyder might be out of the NFL. And if that's the case, I think a lot of people will be rejoicing, but the Commanders fans will be doing it louder than everybody else. I had a couple Commanders fans tell me, right to my face, they said, hey, if Jim Irsay is the reason why Dahn Snyder has to sell the team that I am forced to be a fan of because I grew up in this area and I love this team, I will buy season tickets to the Indianapolis Colts just as a thank you to Jim Irsay for doing that. It sounds like celebrations are on the horizon for the Washington team. We don't know exactly what this means, but it sounds like the NFL might, maybe get some new money in it. Ooh, the talks table is here at Ty Schmidt. The Packers did nothing yesterday. A little bit of a heartbreak. I think Aaron said he thought that there was a chance something would happen while he was on the show from 2 to about 2:45-ish, 3 o'clock every single Tuesday. That did not happen. Maybe Chase Claypool, who they were in on, and who ends up going to Chicago Bears, was what Antics and Aaron had been talking about. But nonetheless, Packers do nothing. They kind of send a message, I think, to their fan base. Colts send Nyheim Hines, the Buffalo, kind of send a message to the fan base. There's a team sending a message to their fan base, though, both on Fortnite with Tyreek Hill and their ownership in their front office and the moves they're making. The Miami Dolphins seem to be going all in. The Buffalo Bills make a move late yesterday. The only team that didn't make a move in the AFC East, basically, is the New England Patriots. You guys fucking dead, just mailing it in, letting these other teams take over? Is that what's going on up in New England, Connor?
No, not all. We started 1-3 or 3-1 in our last 4. I mean, the whole entire reason we didn't make a move is because we got the guys. We got the guys in our building. We know how hard it is to grasp this system. Why bring a guy in halfway through the season when he's probably not going to be able to learn how complicated the defense is and how complicated Matt Patricia and the offense is? There's just no point to do it. We have the guys that can make the Super Bowl run, and that's why we didn't make a move.
Hey, don't lose their Colts this weekend.
Well, we won't because they are so bad.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I never make predictions, but it feels like 38-3 Pats over the Colts on Sunday, to be honest with you. Big time. Might be 41-3. I'll hop right back on it. You know what? 49-3.
No.
Yeah. That's right. I don't know if Ellinger's going to have 50 total yards.
Boston Bruins almost won 49-3 last night. That was unbelievable. That was remarkable. That was sad. That was disgusting.
Great
I went
team.
to bed a couple times during that game because it was a little bit later.
Sure.
I forgot how late those NHL games potentially go a little bit, especially right after the college football playoff rankings. I was dozing in and out. We're up 5-2 at one point. I wake up. It's 5-3. No, it's not. Wipe that goal off the board because the Boston Bruins are cheating. It's still 5-2. We're in a good spot. The hockey gods are on our side.
Yeah.
I fall asleep. I wake back up. It's 5-4. the Bruins had pulled their goalie.
Oh, no.
And they were in the Penguins' end. And then all of a sudden, it's 5-5.
Oh, shit.
no.
And the Boston Bruins then go into overtime, kill a penalty, 4-on-3,
Yeah.
and then they win 6-5 last
Oh,
night.
no. Did they?
The Boston Bruins, the most deplorable franchise and program in the NHL,
Don't know about that.
who are the hottest team in the NHL right now, have their best first 10-game start of any season in the history of the team, which is 98 years old.
Something to think about.
They go 9-1, and they did it in Pittsburgh last night when they were down 3, and then they go on a 4-zip run to bury Sidney Crosby, who
What?
scored 30 seconds into the game.
So quick.
They were cutting promos for him before the game even started. Tonight you are in for a treat, basically, is how Steve Levy's selling this thing, which he should be. He's the greatest player to ever play. Pretty much what ESPN said.
The face of the league.
I'm the one that says this all the time. I'm literally the one because Sidney Crosby has brought me a lot of happiness, a lot of celebration, a lot of beers, a lot of things with how fucking good he is. And he never talks, so nobody knows he exists. So the NHL has done a terrible job of branding him. They've done a terrible job in communications and marketing and kind of building the game, I believe, as a whole. And nobody even knew Sidney Crosby was. They did something a couple years back. I forget when it was. Might have been a lot of years back. They had Sidney Crosby just walk around all the big cities. Nobody recognized him.
That's right. No.
Not a single person recognized him. And in Pittsburgh, you can't do that, obviously, because we know him, because he brings us all so much happiness. And he's fucking unbelievable. He scores 30 seconds into the goddamn game last night. I'm like, here we go. Sid doesn't want Boston to do this. Not tonight. Sid's still Sid. It's ESPN. It's prime time. And then we fucking just crumble. And you guys beat us. And our goalie's flopping around all over the fucking place. Your goalie gets pulled because he stinks.
Yeah.
Then your other goalie gets hurt. They put your goalie back in. The one who stinks, this guy stands on his fucking head. What are we doing? What is happening? Why are the hockey gods doing this? We don't know. Now it doesn't matter, though. Playoffs are the only thing that matters.
Yeah, that's true, but you need to start hot to get into the playoffs, and I believe right now the Penguins are a bottom 10 team in the NHL, so yeah, you guys are going to have to turn around at some point.
You don't have to start hot in the NHL. Okay, the Blues won 2 years ago. They were the worst team
Ever
in
heard of
the
him?
NFL.
Patty Maroon ain't coming to Pittsburgh, but maybe he will. Maybe we'll
he
trade
Not
for
this
Patty
year,
Maroon.
because the Fenway Sports Group, they're not, buying into Penguins. They're buying into the Bruins.
That's not true.
They might trade Crosby to Boston after what happened last night.
Sid will retire.
They
Sid will
want to
retire.
respect him. They want to respect him.
Congrats to the Bruins on big win.
Thank you. It's awesome. Hockey season all in this year.
Yep,
Rangers
you can
on
hear more
Thursday.
of that tonight at youtube.com/That's Hockey Talk. That was good hockey talk.
You guys ever
boys.
talk about how LeBron ruined the Penguins?
What?
LeBron and his little group of investors from Boston buy the Penguins. Penguins get run out of the fucking
talk about
playoffs
that?
first series, and then now we're terrible.
He ruined Liverpool too. They stink this year, and they were used to be good, and now
Now they're walking alone.
Wow.
How about they never did before?
Red Sox sucked this year, too.
thanks, LeBron.
What the hell's going on? Hold on.
Is this the worst ownership group in the history? I don't want to get into a full is LeBron the greatest of all time on a basketball court or not.
we don't
debate.
need
MJ is.
We don't need. See,
Go.
I'm wearing some Michael Jordan shoes right now.
Ooh, show
right.
him off. Show him
Every
off.
day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Pretty much every day. I believe it is an incredible shoe brand that creates incredible shoes. And I got respect for the way Michael Jordan went about doing his life.
Oh, yeah. Fuck them kids.
Apparently just a complete savage.
Oh, yeah.
Everything he's ever done.
Good actor.
If he was in the modern era where everything you do is scrutinized and talked about, there would not be Jordan shoes, I don't think, from what I've been told, and from what the stories have been out there, just because he would have been deemed not a role model. I think he would have been deemed not a role model.
Oh, yeah.
I, as a fan of sport and as a fan of competitors, would have loved him even more if we would have heard more stories in real time about it all, because I like dogs. I'm a big fan of that. If you have that mentality, go ahead and make it, and you do it, and you can do whatever. Michael Jordan could do that. So I'm not going to get into that whole debate of whether or not LeBron is better than Jordan or Jordan's better than LeBron, because they're playing two different sports in two different eras, two different times, when you have to live two completely different lives. So I
Still
think it's
making bomb-ass shoes, though.
great shoes. Yeah, these shoes are fucking awesome. And I actually met the bald-headed guy.
Oh.
Steve Ballmer.
Well, I never met Steve Ballmer, but he is a bald-headed
No,
guy.
the-
And if
the
we're
shoe
just
guy.
going to run through all
people?
bald people, I mean, this could be a long.
Steve Diesel.
Steve.
This could be a long.
Vin Diesel.
David Falk.
Hulk Hogan.
David Falk. David Falk is
Oh,
the
yeah.
agent with Michael Jordan who created the shoes, and he's part of the whole thing. I believe he's very successful, very rich. He was representing Roy Hibbert when he was playing
That's right.
for the Indiana Pacers, and I'm sitting down courtside, feet on the wood, no big deal, doing that whole thing. And Roy Hibbert has like a dunk, and then he comes stumbling off, dap up. Being him, right? Because we had known each other from a couple softball games and things like that. And then he goes and daps up Falk. So David Falk, this bald-headed guy, goes over my shoulder, and I'm with AQ Shipley, who's sitting on my left. And he goes, "Who the fuck are you?" And I go, Who the fuck are you? And then he looks at my shoes. I had Jordans on. He goes, I helped create those. And I go, really? You're Michael fucking Jordan. That's awesome. And then he said, no, I rapped to him. And then we had a full conversation for like a half. Great guy, great businessman. He's like an innovative fucking guy, good guy. Part of this whole thing, obviously, worth billions and billions of dollars. I've tried to get him to rep me a few times, and he's like, I'm not taking on any more clients, thanks. But then I saw like he was at a draft or something like that. He's fucking good businessman. Probably a good idea. Probably would have got us out of the shit with the PAFL. But nonetheless, speaking of the PAFL, we have a man whose brain is so goddamn big when talking about the PAFL. We have him every single week, 2 times a week, because he makes our show better, smarter, more insightful. Ladies and gentlemen, host of the Man to Man podcast and everything DB, Darius Butler.
Glad to be back.
How are you, man?
I'm good, man. My team got better yesterday. Can't wait to get down to Kyle.
Colts got better without Naeem Hines.
Yeah, how's that?
My Dolphins.
Oh, that
My Dolphins.
Yeah,
Forgot
my
about
Dolphins
that.
The Colts quit. Is that what you think? Is that what you think the message was that happened yesterday? Do you think we can take some from like the Broncos who ship away Chubb? Do you think they're mailing it in on the season? Colts said Naeem Hines, the only person who scored a touchdown for us last week. They ship him out. Is that a message? Do you take that or no? Like,
I don't take that as a message. And I think Naeem Hines asked to be.
That's what I heard. I
traded.
don't love that either.
That's what I heard, and he hasn't been used. Like I remember we were at camp. I'm like, hey, this guy's gonna have 100 catches this year because I thought coming into the year he would be one of their best.
And what we've seen.
Yeah, weapons on offense. And he's showing he's a weapon. So now him with that Buffalo offense, that'll be scary. But I don't think they're. I think they're mailing it in.
I think in like the last 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, if that coaching GM, I would assume.
True,
is
they
on the hot
cannot
seat,
mail
like,
it in.
Well,
They can't. Yeah, but I mean,
No,
Can the players?
he fired
no,
the OC.
players won't. Players
Yeah,
won't.
yeah.
Players
Fired
won't.
OC.
I mean, benching Matt Ryan was kind of the start of mailing it in, right? You
Well,
paid
we
this
don't
guy
know.
all
Not
this
with the
money.
way he was
Not the
playing.
way
Not with
he
the way
yeah,
he was
true.
That's more covering
No
the
players
stats.
are going to mail it in. I was on that team for the let's suck for the luck,
Yep.
and nobody in the locker room is trying to put on tape any fucking terrible ball. But there was conversations about like some defensive play calls that were happening in situations. You know, like why are we doing that in like a 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2, sending in like a cover 2 type set? Like, why are we doing that? So there was some questions about the calls by players, as I'm sure there was by fans. But that coach that called that got fucking fired, has no job.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't know if that's just a dumb call by the coordinator, or is it a mail it in type call by the coordinator? Because all those coaches got fired too. So
Yeah,
anybody that's associated with the game, I don't think can tank.
Not coaches and players.
I
Front
don't think so.
office,
Yeah.
I feel like the front office, they can sit down with ownership and say, hey, you got next year too. Let's start shipping some guys out, get some picks, blah, blah, blah. But as far as coordinators and position coaches and players, like Greg Williams, I remember calling it a blitz at the end of the game.
Yes,
I think he was
Jets.
fired right after the game.
Jets, yeah.
Raiders.
Cover
Raiders.
zero,
Yeah. Players going to go out there and try to put it on film, every opportunity they get. Coaches as well. So I don't think they're mailing in the Colts. I think, Frank Wright, obviously you bench Matt Ryan, and now you fired the offensive coordinator, Marcus Brady.
Who we knew existed.
For sure.
I knew he existed, but
We definitely
Frank,
did.
Frank is calling the plays on Sunday, right?
Is he?
Is that right?
That's what I thought. So,
Marcus Brady.
What? Jesus calling plays on
Interesting.
Sunday through Frank.
what's that?
Well, if that was the case, they wouldn't be 3 and 5.
We don't know how Jesus is as a
Correct.
fucking
No, yeah.
3, 4, and 1.
I
Well,
assume
no.
he'd be good, but he's got a lot of other stuff to
Does.
figure out.
That's right. Remember, he could throw the ball a country mile.
I do think, though, players aren't mailing it in or whatever because they can't on tape. You don't want to look bad. You want to have a career. You want to make money. I think there's some top guys that might mail it in a little bit. Who knows? Make some business decisions in situations.
Already paid.
For sure. Like, those people can, but the bottom half of the roster. But I don't think you're getting, like, the extra reps. I think somebody who's questioning how much they're going to go do afterwards or at home or in the film. Like, I think whenever you make decisions like trade a Naeem Hines, even if he asked for it, which isn't good about the culture and what's going on anyways, because even if you are not getting the ball as much as you probably should, if you're part of a good culture, you should want to be there, especially because you just got paid. Ugh. He's going to do so well for the
Yeah,
Bills.
you want the ball, though, man.
Well, he should have got the fucking ball.
Yeah.
Should have put him
Got more.
should have put him at slot receiver, had him get the ball, like
Right.
everything we were talking about. You could find ways to get a guy like Nyheim Hines the ball. Wait until you see what the fucking Bills do with this.
Sure.
I understand the Bills have a lot of weapons. The Bills are very good.
Mm-hmm.
Ken Dorsey seems to be an incredible fucking offense coordinator who has passion, emotion, and everything like that. Wait till you see the shit that they're about to do with Nyheim Hines. He's fast. Very fast. He's explosive, and he can catch the ball very well. So well, he's a punt returner as well if he needs to be. And like I said yesterday, I think he said in an interview that he tells himself before punts, like, if I die, I die. Like, that's how it's got to be. So he's that type of – he's literally like everything you would want. So if he's getting upset enough to say, I'd like to be traded, don't you think that should maybe linger down to the play caller and be like, hey, can we get this guy the ball a little bit more? He is not this type of guy to ask for be traded at all. I think everybody loves Nyheim Hines. I think he's very well liked by the community. He's very well liked by the community. I thought he was very well. I went to a concert. No, I went to a college basketball semifinal was here, I think, right?
Yeah.
I went with some of the trainers from the Colts, some of the equipment managers from the Colts. Only a couple of the players, the modern, I guess, active players, ended up showing. Nyheim Hines was one of them because he was liked by the trainers, the equipment room, everything like that. Like, I think Nyheim is liked by everybody. So if he is requesting a trade, that should have sent maybe a little bit of
Oh, shit.
like, hey, can we – this guy's not this type of guy at all. Like, this guy is very well liked and everything. Can we maybe get him the rock a little bit more, especially because our offense has been pretty inept, and that didn't happen, which leads me to think, like, what – thank God they fired that offense coordinator.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank God they fired that offense coordinator yesterday. But to follow up, I think there's going to be some people that maybe take shortcuts that wouldn't take shortcuts. So even if you're not mailing it in and the plan is still to go out there and win and there's jobs on the line, which there certainly is, I'd assume, not only in the NFL every single day, but in Indianapolis, I think there's going to be some people, there's going to be ripple effects of this shit where people aren't buying all the way in, aren't doing everything they can because you're seeing what the coaches are doing, you're seeing what the front office is doing, you're seeing what the next year maybe looks like, you're hearing all the rumors, and it's not good. This is not a good part of this is not a good program to be a fan of right now. It's not a good program to be a fan. All of a sudden out of nowhere, you're a fan of Miami. This was Miami.
Yeah.
This is a Miami thing. This is a Lions thing. This is not an Indianapolis Colts thing that's happened multiple times over the last couple seasons. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? Let's talk about another program that's maybe about to change. Is Dan Snyder selling the Washington Commanders, Ty Schmidt? Is that what's happening right now? He hired Bank of America. He said, yeah, got to gauge some potential interest. He's Daniel Snyder, owner of the Washington Commanders football team, and beep. Is he selling the team, Ty?
I don't think so. You mentioned it. You said this could just be a ploy where he's going to sell off, maybe 30% of his ownership to get a little more cash on hand. Everything we've heard from this guy, he's basically said, like, hey, you're going to have to take this football team from my cold, dead hands. Like, fuck you. I don't care what. Everyone hates me already. Everyone already thinks I'm a piece of shit. Like, everyone's saying it publicly. Come take the team then. I'm not selling this team. So you guys can do whatever you want to. And I didn't even think of that because all of the reaction on Twitter was, oh my God, he's selling the team. Here we go. Like it's finally going to be fun to be a Washington fan again. I don't think so. This guy knows exactly what he's doing. I think that makes a lot of sense. It's like, oh, okay, you guys want me out of the league? Well, I'll make it appear like I'm selling the team. I'm going to sell 30% of it to someone who maybe I'm buddies with, who's never going to push, or have any issues with anything I'm doing.
And I'm going to get
a bunch of fucking money.
$2 billion,
yeah, exactly. A bunch of fucking money in return. And then guess what? Next year at the owners' meetings,
this guy gets $2 billion.
Yeah, I'm going to be laughing at all you dipshits because I'm still going to be the owner.
I'm showing up in a new jet.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm showing up I'm parking my new yacht that I just bought from selling the shares on the street where we are doing the owners' meetings.
Yeah.
I'm living in that. We're shutting down the town that we're in that I just bought. Oh, and I have an extra couple billion still too to use. That would be a very Daniel Snyder play if he was to do that. But I guess everybody's thinking that he got bullied into I guess, by the other owners and by the public into saying, all right, finally, I'll just kind of give it up. And maybe he does want some happiness at the end of it.
It would be a very Daniel Snyder thing to do what Ty said, because he's a stubborn piece of shit, it feels like. Allegedly.
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 A lot of people.
A lot of people are alleging
lot
that.
of alleges.
But like maybe someone did get in his ear and like, hey, that 3-month vacation we took in Napoleon's Island where we were hiding from all that stuff, and that was pretty fun, right? And those exposés and the owners talking shit on you, that's not fun. But yeah, I mean, being an NFL owner is cool and stuff, but like you could also, just take $5 billion and $6 billion and just go have fun for the rest of your life.
That's his life right now.
Like maybe someone got to him and said, hey, that like $6 billion and living just like stress free. Maybe that'd be fun too.
Hey, that'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? You just kind of disappear into your little.
There's
yacht,
a lot of people,
island.
there's a lot of bad billionaires out there who just living and no one's bothering because they're not an NFL owner. Maybe that'd be cool.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe his family, his wife, who was being forced to answer
Sure.
all the questions. Remember?
Yep.
Because once they wanted to separate from Dan Snyder, they're like, "Hey, Mrs. Snyder, need you to come in
Yeah.
Come on,
and
Tasha.
talk about it." And she's like, "I fucking hate that.
I hate this guy.
I fucking
What do you
hate this
mean?
guy. I hate this team. I didn't want to.
I hate football.
I've been trying to sell this thing for. We had poop pipes burst on people the last 3 years. Now I'm the face of it. Maybe she's telling them, let's go ahead and sell it. $6 billion though is the projected, and they're going to have to build a new stadium.
Yep.
And we've been grossly overestimating the price of every franchise. We thought the Broncos were going to go for $6 billion.
Right.
Allegedly, the Washington Commanders team much bigger than what the Broncos are, and they have to build a new stadium. They have to build a new culture. Probably going to change the name again.
Yeah, new uniforms
Think so?
and all that kind of stuff.
Right. New owner, don't you think? Commanders is not like loved by their fan
No.
base. It's very new, and you're a new. If they sell the team, this is still if they sells the entire
They
a
have the
majority.
fight
If he
song.
gives up the majority stake of the team, they would change it. They do have a.
They have the fight song now.
Yeah, left hand
Put
up.
your left hand up.
Who are we?
The Commanders. Who wrote that again? Was
Wale.
it Wale?
A genius.
I do not believe it was.
Or may,
Wale.
did he produce it?
What?
He may not have written it.
Probably
Yeah,
made
he
the
may
beat.
produce
I'm not
it.
sure
I don't think
Wale.
Wale had anything.
He had his hands on
Are
it.
you
You don't
sure?
think?
Are
You
you
don't
sure?
think?
Me-
Something that
Good
good.
He
song.
at least made the
Are you
beat.
certain?
Yeah.
Are you certain?
Something that
Or are
could
you
I
just
assume
assuming?
Wale.
Not just assuming.
Oh, you're just
Got
assuming.
Joe
Just-
Gibbs.
You know what happens?
You got a
good
good chance.
chance.
I think he at least wrote that verse.
Yeah. He didn't make that?
Who are we?
The Commanders.
Definitely a banger though.
It
Yeah.
is
We want Dallas. I mean,
Dallas.
Whole fan screaming.
fellas.
yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So you're saying Wale didn't make that song?
No.
I don't think he did
don't
either.
know.
I don't think Wale
yeah,
did
I
either.
double
If
checked.
it
I
came
think
out of the
people are wrong.
DMV, Fo Lauren had something to do with it.
No, I don't. They keep saying Whale. His name's Wale. I don't think he had anything to do with that song.
Really? I think his fingerprints might be on it somewhere. I don't know exactly
His fingerprints
where,
were
but
on something, and
He's
they
at least-
created a text message that
He's
was
at
sent
least,
to me the
he
last
should at
time
least
we...
make
Oh,
a
he said thank you?
parody of it.
A parody?
Parody of it, yeah.
All right, let's. Speaking of a parody, we have made a parody of all football. Let's bring somebody in that's an actual fucking professional.
Hell yeah.
Okay? I get the opportunity to watch this guy work every single Saturday and Friday during production meetings and Monday during production meetings as well. Incredible brain, incredible professionalism, has an ability to juggle that I think should be talked about a little bit more whenever you're judging hosts and the capability of doing things. This past week in Jackson, there was about an hour of the show where we couldn't see the show, we couldn't see any of the graphics that were up on the screen, and we had no idea what was going on because we lost connection from Jackson, Mississippi to Bristol, Connecticut. So in our ears, and I assume in this man's ears a lot more than what ours, they're saying it's on the screen, just trust it, just trust it, just trust it. This dude had to host a show with a couple million people watching, not knowing anything that is being shown. He did it in a wonderful fashion in front of a live audience. I have nothing but the utmost respect for this man. Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of College Game Day, the voice of the college football playoff rankings, Reese Davis. What's up, Reese?
That's some kind of intro, my friend.
You
I
deserve it.
I was enjoying the Wale discussion though before I came on. That was
So me and Wale know each other rather well. And
Yeah.
he's a wrestling fan. I've encountered him a couple times at those events. I'm a big fan of his work. I like the way his brain operates. So when this Commander song came out and we were promoting it.
Loved it.
And on the show, obviously, you hear the way we go. We're just a bunch of idiots. I think it was said like 4 or 5 times. Oh, Wale had a great. Wale. I get a text from Wale. Keep my name off that song. So that is kind of how it's kind of. I think it's because he didn't want credit for how good it was.
Probably.
Didn't want
Makes
to take any.
sense.
But Reese, you've been doing game day now football. How long?
8 years.
Enjoy
8
it.
years,
Enjoy it. Love it. Did you come from the basketball one? Did you pick up the basketball one at the same time, or how did you end up in college game day football?
No, I actually did the first college game day basketball in 2005. I started it. The first year, Fowler and I split the season. I did the first 4, he did the second 4, and then I've done all of them since. But I was hosting college football in the studio before that. Started doing that around 98 or 99 full time, I think. And I mean that's what drives the boat. That's what I love. I love them both. But this has been a great passion of mine since I was a little kid, and I'm lucky enough to get to do it on television, and they send me a paycheck every Thursday, which is good too.
Yeah, the paycheck's always great. I mean, we love doing things, but getting paid for it is, if somebody else is making money, we would also like that to happen. You do a great job. You're a Rolodex of information, and the way you handle and command conversations and then the production room, and you allow creativity to happen, and you're very fucking good at what you do. I just wanted the world to know that. That's why I gave the introduction that I gave. You hate that. I know you hate that. So I'm going to continue to do it here while your face is on the screen. This dude's really good at what he does. Hates hearing about it. Probably overcritical, just like the top players are in any sport. You miss a word, he probably fucking thinks about it for 4 or 5 days. So, Reese, I appreciate everything.
You know me well. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been trying. I've been asking you a lot of questions, man. I'm intrigued by the way your brain operates because, I have to sit on a microphone every single day for 3 hours and try to do it. I'm trying to get better, and I think you're somebody I can learn from. Let's learn from the past, though, here. The college football playoff is always going to piss people off. And yesterday, the first official one comes out. Tennessee's at the top. Ohio State's number 2 overall. Georgia's number 3. So college game day this weekend is 1 versus 3 in Athens, Georgia. 4 Clemson, 5 Michigan, 6 Alabama, 7 TSU, Oregon, TCU, Oregon, USC, LSU. So a lot of conversation about who Clemson. What is Clemson? They have 3 top 25 wins, though. So strength of record, is that something that's real? TCU, they seemingly have no shot, right? They have no chance to get to the top 4, even if they run the table, because they have no ranked opponents left. How should we be viewing this, and how gospel is this right now whenever we're thinking about the end of the season, Reese?
Not very, Pat, to be honest, in terms of how gospel it is. It's important. It's instructive in some ways. But I still think that TCU probably doesn't have the ability to lose a game and still make it, even if they win the Big 12, absent other meltdowns around them. But if they win all of their games, I think it's a virtual lock that they'll be in the playoffs.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah,
TCU.
if they run the table, they'll go. So I'm not too worried about that. I think you can make a really good case that they should have been ranked higher, and you can probably make a case that Clemson should have been a spot or 2 lower. But to me, that's sort of the beauty of the committee, is that if we wanted just a formula, we used to have one, and everybody railed and pissed and moaned about it all the time about the BCS formula. So now we've got people that are using some metrics and using some science and some data, and they're also applying some of their, I refer to it as football judgment. They are looking at it going, okay, I know that it says they're 20th in efficiency. I think they're better. And I think there's room for that as long as all of it is blended together and it's not just, I think this team's going to have more guys drafted, so they'll probably win, so I'm ranking them higher.
All right, Reese, we're going to call you back. The connection on our end isn't great. We'll get you back here on a clearer picture because everything you're saying there is fantastic. I like it to be uninterrupted. How about that TCU announcement? They will go. Because I just assumed as a fan watching from the outside in, with the way they had that ranked, with them sitting at 7, I didn't know how many teams are going to have to lose and how many games they're going to have to lose for TCU to be able to make it, because everybody says it's a Power 5, but the SEC and the Big Ten carry so much more weight. You a big college fan at all? You follow it all?
I'm following it more this year, and then obviously, my UConn Huskies. I don't care what the
big
hell y'all
win over
talking
Boston
about.
College.
Huge win. First win ever over Boston College.
Wow.
So,
Morris seems to be doing it up there.
Yeah, with a haunted house and all. That shit was wild.
Yeah, he needs to move. I watched The Watcher. Get your fucking ass out of that house. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse before it gets better. I just seen it on Netflix, basically the same exact situation.
They're friendly.
No, they're not. I mean, there's going to be one asshole that's going to come in and ruin the whole game. But I do like the fact that I've gone ghost hunting in the past, and he told me to download an app, and it was a ghost tracker, and it was a radar, like a Doppler, and I wasn't like Donardo. I wasn't seeing it as good as everybody else.
Interesting.
I did get chills a couple times, though, and they said that was the spirit passing through me. I was like, or maybe just got the chills.
A little windy.
I believe in spirits, though. I believe in ghosts, so Mora needs to move. Joining us once again, Reese Davis. I believe we have a better service. That's on our end. Reese. So what you were talking about there, TCU would make it, you think, if they were to run the table as opposed to get left out. So I said this on the demo field, which great name of that particular part of the set over there. I said on the demo field, as we're kind of laying into the college football playoffs, so we're teasing the Tuesday night release on Saturday in Jackson, I said TCU's got no shot, right? They got no ranked opponents left. I think Texas A&M was probably supposed to be a much bigger game than it's going to be. Texas is supposed to be a much bigger game than it's going to be. They have a couple road trips that are going to be difficult, but you're saying they win out, guaranteed to go in there. Is that just a college football playoff rule? If a Power 5 conference goes undefeated, they have to go in there, or it's a lot more discussion about it all now?
Yeah, no, there's no guarantee of it because their charge, and they have some criteria they use for evaluation, but the charge is to get the 4 best teams. And
Today,
there are
not like at the beginning, but right now.
Right then, yeah, on that selection day when they rank them for the final times, that's the final time. That's the charge. Get the 4 best teams in the playoff. And oftentimes, the type of verbiage that they'll use that if teams are similar, then they will use a thing like conference championships, head-to-head, common opponents, that type of thing. If the teams have been deemed to be similar, meaning that if you have a 8-4 team that pulled an upset against a 12-0 team, they're probably not going to be deemed similar. So it's not a guarantee. It's not a lock. It's not a rule. It just given the games that will be played, Tennessee, Georgia playing each other, Ohio State, Michigan playing each other.
Last week.
The Pac-12 teams still have to play. Alabama and LSU playing Saturday. I just think it's really hard to envision a scenario in which TCU would go through the Big 12. While it might not be as top-heavy as some conferences, the games at the bottom are tougher than in most conferences, if not all of them. I have a hard time believing they would go through that unscathed and wouldn't make it. I think it's highly unlikely. It's not a guarantee, but it's highly unlikely.
Hell yeah, you're talking about West Virginia right there. I heard it. I heard you what we just said about West Virginia right there, Reese. Tone Diggs has a question for you, Reese.
Reese, since only the top 4 matter in the college football playoff, why do they? I don't want to say waste the time, but why do they take the time every week to do the top 25? Because I know they throw it out and they start over each week. Is there a reason why they do the top 25 instead of maybe just the top 4 or top 8 or top 10? Like, why do you think they go to 25?
Well, one of the reasons is they also set the matchups in the New Year's Six bowls, and there are some criteria established about who gets into those bowls. I think the other thing it does, it gives them a good picture of the entire landscape as they see it, for which wins would be quality in their eyes, and it probably would also give them a good picture for because I was told something I didn't know until a few weeks ago, because I was on this thing about when the playoff expands that there needs to be some type of threshold for conference champions to make it. And they actually ranked them, I think, down to 50, but they only released the top 25. So they try to do a comprehensive look at the entire sport, and that's why they do it. But probably the most practical reason is to set the New Year's Six games and to determine who has more quality wins than someone else.
Who selects the committee?
It's a rotating group. They extend bids. I think it's a 3-year term. There are 4 new members on it this year. So the college football playoff group extends invitation, tries to put together guys and women from various backgrounds, playing experience, coaching experience, administrative. The last couple of committees have had a media member on it or a former media member on it.
Really?
And so they try to sort of spread the gamut across people in college football. Like I read, I try. Everybody can disagree with the committee. That's fine. I mean, that's sort of part and parcel of what goes along with the committee. But I get annoyed when someone put out last night, they don't know what they're watching. And I'm like, okay, so you're telling me you don't think that Jim Grove, who used to coach at Wake Forest, knows what he's watching. You don't think that Joe Taylor, who had a brilliant head coaching career for 30 years at HBCUs, he doesn't know what he's watching. You don't think Will Shields, John Urschel, or Ward Manuel, who's the AD at Michigan but played at Michigan, they don't know what they're watching. Give me a break. You can disagree with them. That's fine. I mean, that's part of the territory. But they know what they're seeing. They're able to make football judgments on things.
I saw Boo was the guy I talked. Boo Corrigan, I believe his name. He's the athletic director for
NC State.
NC State. He was talking last night. Is being able to articulate what the committee is finding a part of picking the leader of the committee, or is that just strictly this person will get us to the decision better than everybody else?
I think it's a little bit of both, Pat. It's an important part to represent what the committee thinks, and it's also you want someone with good leadership qualities in the room. And Boo mentioned last night this is his first year as the chair, and mentioned using a light touch, trying to pick his spots. Probably learned that from his father, who was a longtime administrator, who's the athletic director at Notre Dame in Virginia, the commissioner of the ACC, Gene Corrigan. Boo's brother Tim. Yeah, Boo's brother Tim works for us. Used to work in college football, and now is a coordinating producer, probably senior coordinating producer in the NBA. So this is a family that's been immersed. Boo grew up in this. He knows this
hilarious.
stuff. But I think one of the things that is difficult for the chair every week is that they're in that room and they have a vote, they have a voice. And you might have thought one thing, you might have been advocating one position, but the committee as a whole came to a different conclusion, and you have to represent what the committee as a whole, the conclusion that they came to.
Listening to Boo go, now, there was quite an argument to be said that Michigan deserved. They put up 418 yards against Penn State, the only league opponent. Clemson has had 3 top 25 wins, but that's in our current ranking. What it will be by the end of that whole, there's certainly an argument to be said about that. But what the committee said was, like, that's a funny thought of him having to balance his own person. Because those are split, right? Are those just vote majority wins? Or does it have to be like 2/3, or what is it?
No, they do it. It's a really interesting way they've done it, and I've gone through the exercise a couple of times. They put teams on the screen, and you list 6 teams, and no particular order. And the 6 teams that get the most votes from the 13 people in the room are then put into a group, and you rank them. 3 are then ranked. The other 3 are held over. You do the entire process over and over again. So they don't just do it like you would do the AP poll or the coaches poll, where everybody votes 1 through 25, and then you add it up. It's a more of a deliberative process. It's more of a teams evaluating teams within groups and clusters. So there are situations that have come up in the past where I've asked various committee chairs the question. Maybe you have a couple of teams, and you say, was Team A ever actually evaluated in the same group as Team B? And sometimes they'll tell you, and sometimes they won't. And, so that's also an interesting thing.
How do you feel being the guy that has to lay out the information every Tuesday night of what the committee's voting on? Not even what Boo is telling you what the committee's voting on. You have to do it because as soon as the top 2, as soon as Georgia was ranked 3, you go, so we miss out on 1 verse 2 this week. That was your first reaction. I heard it. I literally heard it because as soon as it popped up on the screen, I had the same reaction as you. It was like, all right, so it's 1 verse 3 this weekend or whatever. It's funny listening to you do you know before the show goes live, or are you being revealed it while you're live on air?
Revealed when we were live on air. When we started this is the 9th season of it, we went back and forth about that and ultimately decided, I think the first week of revealing the rankings in 2014, that let's give this a try and see how this works with us not having a single clue as to what the rankings are going to look like, and just react genuinely and authentically. And it's worked out, and we make it a point not to see. In fact, last night, Drew Gallagher, who you know is a coordinating producer of Game Day, says before the show, he's out there with Pollock and Galloway and me, and Drew says, here's a question you might want to think. And I said, stop right there. And he said, what? I said, when you tell me what question you think I ought to ask,
you're starting to figure out.
I said, I'm going to know something because I know how you think, and vice versa. He knows how I think too. So I said, don't tell me. And he didn't. And we go out of our way to make sure we don't see it at all beforehand.
It's the right move. It's a good decision. I'm happy ESPN decided to do that. I'm happy you're a part of that. Drew Gallagher, Philly John. Super happy right now. Eagles are good. Bryce Harper's hitting dingers, and he's telling the guy coming up behind him in the batter's box, everything we thought about this guy's glove placement, 100% real. Another dong shot, about to win the fucking World Series. Hey, good for Drew, by the way. And all the Philly Johns there. Ty has a question for you, Reese.
Yeah, Reese, we've heard a lot about the potential, moving to 8 teams in 2024 or 2025. It seems like that date kind of moves a lot. Pat mentioned before we were on air about how with the Power 5, it doesn't really make sense because there are still only 4 teams, and it doesn't really apply this year because Oregon and USC both have a loss. But do you see them moving to 8 teams here in the near future so we avoid situations where, you have all 5 power conferences potentially have a champion that go undefeated, and one of those teams is still the odd man out?
Well, they've agreed to a 12-team format that's going to, exactly when that's going to be implemented is still being discussed. That's more of a logistical question of being
What do you
able to
mean
get
by
sites,
that?
venues, all of that.
What do you mean by that, Reese? What do you mean by that?
What do I mean by what? The logistical questions?
Yeah, when it's going to come in, when it's not going to come. Because you and I know the same information. I'm excited to hear how you lay it out. And then as you lay it out, I will do the same.
My guess is, and it's nothing more than a guess, I think we'll have this system. Obviously, we're going to have it this year. I think we'll definitely have this system next year. But my guess is that by 24, maybe 25 at the latest, but by 24, I think we can probably get to the place where there will be the 12-team playoff. And what the 12 teams would consist of would be the 6 highest-ranked conference champions. They would automatically get into the field. The top 4 ranked conference champions would get buys. And then after that, you would use the rankings for the at-large bids to fill out the rest of the field.
So what's the 6th one? The American Conference?
It would be whoever's the highest ranked. In this particular year, if just for the fun of the exercise, if you used last night's rankings and pretended that those were the final, the next highest ranked conference champion would be Tulane at number 19. So Tulane would get into the field. They wouldn't get a bye, but they would get into the field of 12. And that would be from the American. But there have been years when it would be awesome. When Coastal Carolina a couple of years ago probably would have been the team out of the Sun Belt to get it under a 12-team format.
Cincinnati, UCF. I mean, there's a lot. And even though they're moving to the Big 12.
The Big 12.
Yeah.
So so the plan would still be, I guess, in a couple of years to have 6 conferences that are worthy of sending somebody to a playoff then. So all that thought of, whoa, what was that face?
That is my biggest bone of contention with the 12-team plan.
Really?
I think there needs to be a threshold that the champions need to meet in order to be included, whether that's being ranked in the – I would probably be so strict I'd say the top 12 or 15, but even if it's just the top 20, because you might run into a year where the 5th or 6th highest ranked conference champions like 37th. Why are they in the national championship tournament? They shouldn't be there. So I would like to
That's
see
the March Madness thought, though, right? That's the March Madness thought is what they're going for.
Right, exactly. And I don't think it fits for college football. I like the fact that it's hard to get in. So if I would like to see a threshold for it, but your point is a perfect one, is that those teams that are moving out of the American, by definition, weakens that conference. So now the teams that are moving out of the Pac-12 weakens that conference. So now you've got 2 that this year are legitimate that are going to be weaker by the time we get to 12, and in theory would weaken the playoff field. But we'll see how it works out.
Reese, it sounds like you've had this conversation with somebody in the past. Darius has a question for you, Reese. Go ahead, D-Bud.
Reese, while I have the authority on college football on here, I got to ask you about my Huskies. Number one, is there any chance my UConn Huskies get back into a conference so that they compete and recruit on a better level? And what's your thoughts on Coach Mora? Obviously, he's doing some big things over at UConn. You guys did a piece on him on game day. What's your thoughts on him turning this program around?
Move out of that house.
Needs to move out of the house. I agree with Pat on that one. Got to get out of that Ghostbusters house first and foremost. I've been really surprised and impressed with Jim's a really good coach. But I thought that the difficulties that UConn faced because they've de-emphasized football by definition because of the choices they've made to put basketball first, go back into the Big East, which all of the fans in Connecticut, virtually all of them wanted because that's more important to them. But I think with a strong coach like Mora, and if he uses the transfer portal wisely, that this could be their path. They're not going to out-recruit anybody. There are good players in the Northeast. There just aren't as many of them. And most of them are leaving the area anyway. Whether it's Christian Wilkins, leaving to go to Clemson, or there's a quarterback over at mine and Pat's favorite place, the Avon Old Farm School for Boys, who just committed to Georgia.
The Winged Beavers.
The Winged Beavers. So, I think he has to find a way to keep some of those guys home and then make UConn an attractive bounce-back place for guys who decide they want to come home or things aren't working out or whatever. But he's a really good coach, and he's done a tremendous job, I think. As far as being attractive to a conference, they would love to get in the ACC, but I think it's hard to find what they bring in terms of increasing the value in football in terms of eyeballs and things of that nature.
Well, and speaking of that, YouTube doesn't make a sound when the ratings drop, but I think I heard a bzzz about that UConn. I think I just heard. So, I mean, maybe the ACC changes that. I'm not sure, but I'm happy. Hey, good for the Huskies.
Yeah. Way to go, UConn.
Hey, way to go, UConn.
Thank you, Reese.
College football authority is Pete Thamel, but this man knows everything about everything. Reese, a lot of coaches fired. You know, Harson's the most recent down there at Auburn, and there was, I guess, conversation, chatter about that happening since his offseason whenever there was like so many complaints about the operation he's running with either alumni and current players, and I think the NCAA was investigating. Just never really worth a shot this year. It sounded like he was getting fired from day one. He adds to the list of other 5 schools that already have Power 5 conference schools that are going to have openings. You got Matt Rhule coming out of the NFL. Deion Sanders, obviously his name's getting brought up for everything he's done for Jackson State and the SWAC as a whole. Game day went to Jackson State in the middle of the season. Not for a bowl, not for anything. In the middle of the season went to Jackson. So he's obviously getting a lot of Lane Kiffin, people are saying he's leaving Ole Miss to maybe go to one of these other schools. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. How do you see this shaping up? When will these decisions be made? And is any of it very interesting to think about right now? Or does this all kind of get handled later, Reese?
No, man, I think it's fascinating right now. You talked about ratings. Our ratings show that when we talked about last year, when we talked about the USC coaching search, no matter how many times we did it, the ratings ticked up. People are fascinated by it. It's drama. It's intrigue. There's always a fascination with the bright, shiny new toy who might lift the program back to relevance. So I think it's really fascinating conversation. It's a difficult spot for guys like Lane, who are in the middle of still competing for championships where he is, but he's going to be a target of theirs, I would imagine.
For Auburn?
For Auburn. I mean, I can't
would leave
fathom
that
they wouldn't go after him.
Let me show my ignorance here of college football. He leaves Ole Miss to go to Auburn. I've heard the Grove and Ole Miss, and it's in the SEC, and what he's been able to accomplish, and he's good. He's a good spot. Auburn, better school for coaching than that would be a climb up the scale. And who decides that?
Well, the individual does. I think there are pluses and minuses to both, Pat, but I think there is some history that would indicate that Auburn is a higher level job. And here, well, number one, Ole Miss has had a coach leave Ole Miss for Auburn before. Tommy Tuberville left Ole Miss to go to Auburn before, just days after saying the only way I'll leave Oxford is in a pine box.
That's right.
So I advise Lane, whatever you do, don't say you're not going to leave Oxford except in a pine box.
He went to
because
he's in government now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He's a senator in the state of Alabama now.
Never lies. It's never politician. Never. I don't know if Lane's going to be a senator.
I don't think that's in the cards. But for all of the dysfunction that Auburn has had, and it's been abundant dysfunction. They won a national championship in 2010. They were 13 seconds from winning another one in 2013, and they were a game away from making the playoff in 2017. So throughout all of that, they've won big. Ole Miss hasn't done as much. I think there's a little bit more of a fertile recruiting area. There's a bigger stadium for whatever that's worth at Auburn. I think it's probably a slightly better situation, but I've heard people say you can't win a national championship at Ole Miss. I don't believe that. I just think it's probably a little bit harder than at Auburn. So I think it'll be, I think they'll make a run at it. I just don't know if he'll take it or not.
I heard Ole Miss fans are, that's all everybody said, like, Ole Miss.
No, they're great.
If we do a game day at Ole Miss, they said you will love Ole Miss. They're pointing at me. You will love Ole Miss. I'm like, sounds great. And then it's like Lane Kiffin might leave to go somewhere else within the same conference. I just didn't fully understand that. Let's talk about some of the other jobs. There's some other big jobs. Is Matt Rhule, you think, a name that's going to come back into college circles because of the success he had at Temple and at Baylor, even though it didn't work out with the Carolina Panthers? Deion Sanders, you think he gets a big-time look? And what do you think it'll take for – we saw the love that Jackson has for Deion and Deion has for Jackson, obviously. And there's a lot more to it than just how much you appreciate. And he would still be able to be a blueprint for people that you can go coach in the SWAC and get a Power 5 job as opposed to having to go coach somewhere else to get a big-time job. So I think it would still be a success story if he was to leave there. Do you think he gets called to a Power 5 school? And which one do you think it is, potentially?
I don't know which one it would be, Pat, but I think that that Power 5 schools would be foolish not to evaluate Deion closely. I know it's only a couple of years as a head coach, but he's done a remarkable job. And one of the things about being a college head coach is so much of it is about how well do you handle building the culture and the structure of your program and generating enthusiasm, whether it be for fundraising or tickets or recruiting. Deion's done all of that brilliantly. And he knows ball. And you see by what he's done at Jackson State that he can put together a great staff. He would have more resources somewhere else to do those things. He would give you a huge boost in attention. So I think there are a lot of schools that would be interested in looking at him. And I wouldn't be surprised if Auburn didn't at least look at him. Georgia Tech might look at him. I think those would be a couple off the top of my head. And if Florida State gets sideways, they definitely would look at him. And as you brought up Matt Rhule, I've been like chief on the hire Matt Rhule parade. That was the guy I was telling USC to go try to hire Matt Rhule when he was still with the Panthers. So I think Matt might take a year off of just talking to people who talked to him.
Hey, yeah, baby. By the way,
I think he'd be great. Whoever hired him.
we're going to try to get him on our show for that year he takes off. Now, I know he probably wants to disappear for a little bit and enjoy his life. It's probably been very stressful. The amount of turnover in his program out there at Carolina and his first dabble as a head coach in the NFL with what he left at Baylor to go do that. A lot of money, like $70 million, so he can enjoy that a little bit with the family. But whenever he was at Baylor, they were a wagon.
Oh, yeah.
They were everything. All signs are pointing to like happiness, happy life. Everybody loved him. He was king. Then he goes to Carolina. We want the boon. And I mentioned Matt Rhule maybe getting hired somewhere in college on that show. They cheered. They're Panthers fans. They're like, yeah. Get his ass the fuck out of here. Like, his happiness levels have to be, on quite a roller coaster over the last few years. Hopefully he enjoys the year off. I'll be excited to see what Matt Rhule does. Good football coach. His style just didn't work in the NFL yet. Will it work in the future? Maybe. We do know it works in college. Excited for that. And why not get Deion to West Virginia? You let him go to Georgia Tech with Atlanta?
Oh, boy.
Georgia Tech is in the middle of Atlanta.
Yeah. Yep.
And you get Deion Sanders in the middle of Atlanta with the money backing in the NIL deal with the companies that are in Atlanta. That's why I thought Collins was going to do well there, because he was basically laying it out. Like, hey, when the NIL stuff comes, the amount of companies we have here in Atlanta that want Atlanta to be good, want our team to be good, would enjoy that are huge. Like, they are ready to kind of open checkbooks for us. If Deion was to get to Atlanta.
Look out.
What if Georgia Tech's a fucking powerhouse?
Yeah.
Sweet.
And that, with the 12-team thing, that would work out definitely well for them to get going. I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. I love the drama. Go ahead, Connor, your question for Reese, and then we'll let you go. We know you're a very busy man.
Yeah, Reese, you mentioned some of the coaching jobs opening. Are you praying for Notre Dame to be open to get some more, ratings boosted? And also, who do you think they're going to join? Do you think they'll be an SEC school, ACC? Which conference do you see them going to?
I don't know that they need to join a conference. The only thing that would persuade them to join a conference is if the money became so prohibitively different for their conference share as opposed to what they can make doing things on their own with their own network deal. And I think with the expanded playoff now, their path to get into the postseason will be even easier than it is now. So rather than having to be in the 4 and worried about conference championship games and all of those types of things, they don't have to worry about that anymore. They just need to be in the top 10 or 11. And if they do that, they would be able to make it into the playoff. As far as their coaching situation, I'm not praying for it to be open. I'm a big fan of Marcus Freeman. They've had some bumps in the road his first year. There's no question about that. But I think he's going to do a tremendous job there. I think he's got the goods to be an outstanding head coach for the long term.
You're a bad guy.
I know.
He loves calling for people's jobs.
These guys asked for 5 people to be fired in the last 2 days. It's getting outrageous.
Yeah, I'm not asking for him to be fired. I'm only asking for the Colts head coach to be fired. That's just one.
What is this guy's problem? What is your deal, dude?
I'm just defending myself.
Marcus has got the best recruiting class Notre Dame's ever had.
And they're only going to get better. Seems like they're like this right now. Whenever they figure it out, right, they have a chance to be very good. When they're bad, they're not there yet. Whenever they're good, they have a chance to be great. Remember how they played against Ohio State week 1?
That's right.
They flew around a little bit.
They did.
They got an opportunity, and then they lose some bad games. Then they have that bye. They come back. They win. They're just on a roller coaster right now. They're trying to figure it out. They will be able to do so, no problem. Marcus Freeman's going to be a guy. Yeah. Speaking of being a guy, this guy's been a guy since the beginning. Ladies and gentlemen, the college game day guy, Reese Davis. Thank you. Thank you, Reese.
Thanks, guys.
See you Friday. See you,
Reese.
All right, see you Friday, Reese.
See you later, Reese.
See you, Reese. Bye.
Good luck Saturday.
See all you guys.
See you, Reese.
All right, see you, Reese.
All right, good luck.
Bye, Reese. See you Friday.
Bye, Reese.
Bye, Reese's Pieces.
Love you, Reese. See you.
All right. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He is.
Knows his shit too.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say something in like the production meeting. It gets going in there. There's like the production meeting's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a good time, yeah. Because everybody's scattered throughout the week. So there's a Monday call that kind of sets the stage for let's look back what we did and then sets the stage going forward. Everybody says their piece. I can't stay on it for the entire time because it runs into literally our show, but I get to see like first 30, 45 minutes of it. It's awesome. It's a good time. It's enjoyable. It's kind of recap, get some people's thoughts, see if anybody was thinking the same thing that I was thinking on the show. And there's a lot of that. Then that Friday morning meeting, Jimmy G, not that Jimmy G, has put together, not that
Jimmy G.
Not
Happy birthday,
Garoppolo.
Jimmy G.
It was Jimmy G's birthday the other day.
I think today or yesterday. I don't know.
That Jimmy G.
That Jimmy
Jimmy
G.
Garoppolo.
Oh, okay.
Oh, now you're Jimmy G.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Was it did Jimmy Garoppolo have a birthday?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Jimmy.
Happy birthday.
Jimmy Galante?
Jimmy Gallant, hope he's doing well.
His birthday?
He's doing well, not his birthday.
Haven't talked to him in a little bit. We do miss you, sir. Paisano, hope life is good. AJ, the whole team, or their team, the whole team. Hope everybody's good. Not that Jimmy G either. I'm talking about Jimmy G, I don't know his title.
The game day Jimmy G.
Yeah, did you hear him say Drew Gallagher, coordinating producer?
Yeah.
So these are all,
Yeah, slots.
there's like actual,
Yes.
there's meaning behind these titles.
Okay.
Like where people are. So I don't ever want to disrespect anybody by mistitling them.
Sure.
Okay, wouldn't want to do that.
It's big. They earned their title.
Bingo. And this guy fucking has to do a lot. He's the mover and groover. He's the one that has to cut things live on the air, what we're going to cut if we're heavy and other things, what goes in the A block, when's B, what's C. Seems to be very busy all week. This is his being, I think. So Friday morning in the meetings, he has already done like 4 to 5 days of prep on what he thinks the show's going to be, less than 24 hours from them. And then these meetings and he welcomes it, which I appreciate, because you could see how that particular person who just spent 4 days piecing together how the show's going to be 24 hours before said show is supposed to go, whenever somebody goes, can't do that, gotta do that. And he's just like, it's an incredible, they've all been together for so long. He's been there for 8 years. There's a lot of people that have been there for like 20 some years. Kirk Herbstreit's been there 27 years.
Jeez.
That's wild.
So like the way it gets handled it's awesome. I'm very lucky to be in there. Bear, Bear has his thoughts. Well, that's not exactly right or something. Like, he has the facts behind things. Yeah. Pete Thamel will then chime in with any inside information. The Galliero, Jim Galliero, Jimmy G, not that Jimmy G. So it's pretty cool in there. And then I'm just like, I think the vibe is pretty good over there. I'm like, all right, dipshit. Why don't you shut up? So many researchers in there.
Yeah, I bet.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing. On Friday, I kind of get a sense of what the show's going to be on Saturday. And then I just spend most of the night just trying to read as many notes as possible that Tone Diggs and I did so I don't fuck it up and just kind of go through it all. And then you say a guy plays for the wrong team for 3 hours.
Well,
It happens.
Felix Anudike Uzama plays for Kansas State. That guy's a fucking game record.
dog.
Yeah,
In relation
I think
to the tight end?
I think he's going to be
No, this is Anudike.
a Sunday guy, but I don't even think he's in the top 10 in sacks anymore, so it doesn't matter.
Let's go back to that. Let's go to the top 10 of college football there. We have the graphic. Obviously, Tennessee's at 1. Ohio State's at 2. Georgia 3. Clemson 4. Michigan 5. Alabama, TCU, Oregon, USC, LSU. Just as a pessimist fan that has looked from the outside, it was nice to hear him say that TCU has a chance of getting in there, because everybody's talking about like there might be 3 SEC schools that are in the college football playoff, which, by the way, might be the best 4 teams in there
For sure.
But the whole only four spots is bananas. How that became the answer, I wasn't there for. Obviously, it started in 2014. We've all questioned, but Tennessee loses to Georgia this weekend.
Sure.
Yep.
Then Alabama beats Georgia.
Yep.
Yes.
So then they all have 1 loss right there. Those 3.
One of those.
Yeah, you're gonna have TCU hop one of them.
That's what is happening in the committee.
come on.
So TCU can beat Tennessee then in that situation, because Tennessee wasn't in the SEC championship game. The conversation would be, so TCU's better than Tennessee. And TCU fans would say, we didn't lose anything. We did everything we're supposed to do to get in there. And then the committee goes, you put 24-year-old Hendon Hooker in that Heupel offense on the same field as that TCU defense. How many points do they score? That's what the committee has to say.
Yeah.
And they have to have that discussion, that conversation. But there's no way it'll ever be done fairly. There's no way with that particular conversation it can never be done fairly, because you any given Saturday. That's literally what college football is. Any given Saturday, you have no fucking idea what's going to happen. So, like, are we only comparing on what their best possible could be? Like, if TCU has their best possible game and they're playing against Tennessee playing their best possible game, how do you even judge that? Because we have any of us even seen that where, it's like it's a doomed, flawed system.
Very much
Impossible
so.
job.
Somebody's going to be pissed all the time, and I'm happy that Reese has to be the one to deliver that news.
Because I think like 99% of people who watch college football, I could tell you the line for TCU. I think Texas next week is 7, and Texas is favored by 7. So
Well, that's like Georgia is favored by 8.5 against number 1 Tennessee.
Yeah.
So it's like, is the sports? Are we going off sports book people who have been doing this for an actual living? Or are we going off the committee? And how many football players are in the committee? How many? And is the conversation about the best team that they could possibly be, or is it what could potentially happen?
And I think for a lot of time, the top 4 is fine because there's no more than 3 or 4 teams that can win a national championship. But, like, I think there's a situation where, like, if it was 8 this year, that Oregon for sure could beat Tennessee. That's, like, maybe not Oregon week 1 against Georgia, but Oregon recently has been playing good enough to beat
Well, and
Tennessee.
Ohio State has let Penn State hang around.
Yeah, that score was more deceiving than that game was.
Yes, late. It got ugly. Pick 6 from Big
From
Ten
Washington,
Defensive Player of the
Oos.
Year.
Yeah.
Big Oos had a hell of a game. Had like
Hell
2
of a
sacks, 2 picks, 2 sacks, one of them being a pick 6. He's a stud. That game got loose in the fourth quarter between Ohio State and Penn State. But are we just judging like what we think would happen in a game? Like, Tennessee would wear them down. Tennessee would get them tired. They'd be able to do that. TSU, like, how do you even judge who would win? TCU, how do you even judge who would win?
Like
in a
Clemson
game.
almost lost to Missouri, or Georgia almost lost to Missouri. Clemson almost should have lost to Syracuse. a
Georgia
couple weeks
struggled
ago.
at Kent State.
Sure.
Yeah.
Georgia beats Tennessee this weekend. They're the number 1 team in the country. They struggled at Kent State. Will that be mentioned whenever they're talking about a game that TCU certainly is going to struggle down the road on the road to Texas and I think Texas A&M?
Michigan squeaked by Maryland. Like it's
Yeah.
all just but also like I know they're trying to find the best 4 teams no matter what, but there's got to be some sort of subconscious too where it's like, does America want to watch a potential like Ohio State TCU matchup, or do we maybe want Ohio State Georgia on that? You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
that is definitely a part of it, whether they admit it or not. Like the ratings and how many people are gonna.
I felt like that on the demo field when I said TCU's got no shot, right? And they all were like, no, they have a chance.
yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Really?
Are they all – is that what we're – is that what we're
telling ourselves?
That's on TV? I'm thinking that because when I say TCU's got no shot, I assumed a couple people would be like, "Yeah, Pat's right" or whatever. Instead, it was like, "No, they got an opportunity. They got an opportunity." I'm like, "Oh, I guess like that would be the right thing to say." But also, maybe they're telling the truth. Maybe TCU would get in there because they are a Power 5 team. They would be the champion. They would be undefeated. Every other team ahead of them would have to have some sort of loss. Not every other team, but 3 of the teams ahead of them would have to have some sort of loss just by how the schedule's going, unless teams are tying these days, which I don't think is possible.
Well, and let's be honest, that number 6 team, I believe, is a favorite against. Maybe they were 9-point favorites against Tennessee at Tennessee.
Yeah.
Like Alabama's probably the 4th best team, but unless Clemson or Michigan loses at some point,
And then look at LSU. Hey, D-Bud, I don't know how much you're watching the SEC. This LSU team early in the season, everybody thought Brian Kelly's going to get fired. They've done this number here.
Brian Kelly has won everywhere he's been. So no surprise there.
well, in that week 1 was what, a block.
Just arrow straight up.
Blocked extra point against Florida State, and then they
Special
got
teams,
boat
too, that-
raced. They got
Yeah.
boat raced by Tennessee, but
So a lot of people are pissed that LSU's at 10 because they have 2 losses, and there's teams that have 1 loss and that are obviously ranked higher than them.
Illinois.
Yeah, but they got Alabama this weekend. People are saying LSU might end old Bama's conversation this weekend. That's
wild.
Like people are because that's how good people think that LSU team has gotten. And like next year, I think it's just kind of understood that we'll probably be doing a game day from down there in Death Valley with what that team has been doing the whole offseason to build another one.
Did he get a recruiting class? This is his first recruiting class, or
He was
next year
dancing
be
with
his
that
first?
one.
He
Remember?
was,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Walker
okay.
or something,
Yeah,
quarterback.
QB. And
Give
then
him
the tight end as well.
2 recruiting classes, they'll definitely be competing.
Especially Louisiana.
Yeah, hell yeah.
To my point about Alabama, they are 2 touchdown favorites at LSU.
Here we go.
Here we go.
LSU's at 10. USC,
Plus
tough
14.
loss. USC squeaks by. You know, they had a couple of games that they
Yes.
did squeak by and they did win. They get that loss. UCLA?
Utah.
Utah, yeah.
Utah had already beaten
In Utah.
Utah lost to Florida week 1.
That'd be
That's
Oregon?
like Oregon lost to Georgia week 1, and then they fucking got a lot better. UCLA lost to Oregon last week 2 weeks ago in Eugene. I picked Oregon. I've been pretty hot with my picks.
Oh, yeah.
The last ones? What was the only one I didn't? Clemson.
Yeah.
Because I picked against Clemson. I picked NC State just so I could howl.
Yeah, exactly. Which you had to.
It's a good reason to
I
pick
had to howl. The guy that recruited me didn't really recruit me. The guy that got sent to my cafeteria at my high school after somebody in West Virginia saw me miss a 70-yard field goal wide right and a 65-yard field goal made on a Sunday, showed up in my cafeteria on a Monday. Tiny Gibson, defense coordinator for NC State. Always been a good dude to me. Absolutely love him. Dog of a guy. He and I could howl. Had to do it.
Yeah. Well, and if you would have
Had
known,
to do it. had to do it.
if you would have known that Dave Doran basically said last week, like, hey, if you left that game early, fuck you. Don't ever come to a game
enjoyed
again.
that.
You fans fucking suck after they beat Virginia Tech.
That's happened at a couple places
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Lane Kiffin had to give that speech, too, about the second half of games early in the season where it looked like the Grove was empty. He said, I'm on social media. I'm doing everything I can. We're winning games, and there's nobody there. We got to remind guys it's not practice or whatever. This is a game. It's an actual game. And the Ole Miss fans are like, you're playing like the University of Toledo at Akron. Okay, we're up 50. It's 400 degrees. We're wearing full fucking three-piece suits in this thing.
Been out here drinking since 6:30 in the morning.
All right, you guys won. Way to go. So did we. We get to go nap.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
that's what fans are
We all
thinking.
win.
But it is nice to go to some places where the fans are, like it's a thing. Like,
Oh, yeah.
hey, we're a good fan base. We stick around. We're loud. We're affecting this game. And that's a cool thing that not everybody has. And if you have that, I think you should appreciate that and cherish that. Let's get to a break because we have a man who we have a fan base of that absolutely love.
Yeah, obsessed with him.
The face of concussions.
Yes.
Not because he's had them, but because of how many he's given out.
Dealing them.
He's a fucking concussion dealer.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
The concussion dealer. AJ Hawk joins us in 5 minutes. Be a friend. Tell a friend. Take 5.
We're talking hockey. Roldy and Rupp are talking hockey.
That was the first time I found out it was Mario Brothers. That's all. Growing up, like everybody called it Mario Bros. You know, that was just.
Once you're called the fucking king of New York, you didn't feel like you had to dress to the higher level.
What I love about New York is however you want to dress, however you want to, who you want to be, you just blend in, and it's so comfortable.
This is an organization in Arizona that wasn't paying their fucking bills earlier in the season.
Again, he's not trying to square off with cats because no one.
Someone didn't pay the electric bill around here.
Fucking bum.
Where are you at? Away from the dungeon? What is that? You got the bricks in the back. The fuck's going on?
Is this a fucking Saw? Is this a Saw movie, dude?
Yeah.
Where's fucking Jigsaw?
You want to play a game?
Hey, boss.
Thanks for talking.
Hey. You said you swept the Stars. That kind of shut me up. For the rest of the show.
Not one of my finest moments or proudest moments or whatever you want to call it, but I tell you one thing. It's infamous in the sense that I go into schools and young kids will come up to me and they go, "Oh, you really gave it to Bellows." And I got to oh, kid,
Yes.
that was computer generated.
Get into the Blues alumni kind of unofficially / officially. They gave me one of these bad boys.
Oh,
so
look at that.
I
Got you
feel-
one of
I feel
these.
pretty.
Look at that thing.
That's
What? We're winning the fucking Stanley Cup. The Red Wings are almost as bad as Fox internet service right
Whoa!
there. The Bruins are getting fucking ran out of town tonight. Your biggest luck, I got it. And Ty knows, even though he might be Mark Stoner in this thing, the Vegas Golden Knights fucking stink. Texas, what's that known for? WrestleMania's coming to town? Wall-A Mania's coming to town? Not the goddamn Dallas Stars. Let's go, Pens. We can't lose with 7 in the stands. Now,
Hey, great haircut. Good to meet you finally.
You know, we're
Yeah,
just
I love it.
outside in the chair.
I love it.
It's as simple as this, okay? You gotta have fuck you in the game.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't, you're missing something.
I said, "Sir, if I could just speak up on his behalf, this is like the second greatest player ever. And Mario turned and looked at me and goes, second? Behind who?
All four of those guys aren't rolling, or it's not enough to win one round. This is supposed to be a team good enough to win a cup. We're talking about one friggin' round.
Aaron Burrows told me, and he said this to Henrik Lundqvist's face at dinner. He goes, Henky, you know how they do the renovation at the Garden for $1 billion? It's all you, bro. It's all you doing in the net. $1 billion renovation at the Garden, paid for in 5 years. It wasn't because the Knicks were in the playoffs. It's because the Rangers went on all those runs, and the stud on the team, among several, was their goalie, Henrik Lundqvist.
Gino, honestly, he's one of the funniest guys you can be around, and he probably busted my chops more than anybody. Why are you so slow? You old. Like, he would look up, like, my old contracts and be like, what? No, you're no good.
Thanks for having me on. This was good hockey.
Why?
Let's go!
This show fucking stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it. AJ, you never cease to amaze me with your toxicity, pal.
You got a couple of these?
God damn it! What the fuck are you doing?
Fuck Boston.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our humble abode known as the FanDuel Thunderdome. Hour 2 on this Wednesday, November 2nd, begins right now. Football is happening. Football is fantastic. The Toxic Table at Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt, both look incredible. One half of the Hammer, Dahn Cowboys, 10 Diggs is here. Host of the Man to Man podcast, Everything DB, 9-year NFL vet, Darius Butler also here. Can't wait to dive into Everything DB and learn more about coverages around the NFL and who's impressing you and who is not. Joining us now from Antics, Ohio, is a man who won a college football national championship with the current number 2 team in the country, Ohio State. He won a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers. He's the all-time leading tackler for the Packers. He's a concussion dealer, an NBA pundit, a video game shit talker. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryder Cup champion, COVID survivor, AJ Hawk. What's up, dude?
Good to be here. How you guys doing?
Good. You're dealing out concussions, bro. CT.
Boom, boom, bang, 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 bang.
Is that what you do?
I wish. I was big enough and had a hard enough head to do that.
Oh, shut up.
Okay.
He did.
This guy dealt so many concussions.
AQ actually told us that you were trying to give a concussion to the guy's thigh, but you gave a concussion to his forearm instead, and for a week he couldn't make a fist because of this head. And because of this head, we have this brain that joins us every single day. We appreciate you for that. What are your thoughts on the big news stories of the day? More specifically, Dan Snyder has hired Bank of America to gauge potential interest on a potential sale. What did you learn from that? What do you think about that? And how do you think Dan Snyder feels about this at his genuine soul?
Well, I saw it does matter if he sells like complete ownership or minority stakes, which it would matter. Like you would think somebody got to him and told him, hey, like it might be a good idea to explore your options to try to sell this team, which it seems like he absolutely does not want to, but who is forcing this, do you think?
Well, maybe it's the other owners. Maybe it's people that are close to him. You know, his wife was having to speak for him for a lot of times and for the team. I wonder if she got sick of that quickly and said, this is never going to change. Like, you're never going to be able to come back. Maybe it's family. Maybe it's the building. Maybe it's the other owners. Maybe he did just come to his senses like, man, I hate this. He went to the game in Indianapolis. Obviously, they steal one from Jim Irsay, who's been kind of pushing and leading this charge with less than a minute left. When Heineke delivers a ball to scary Terry McLaurin, like a 50-yard reception to get it down to the goal line, and Taylor scores to take the soul out of Indianapolis in a Ring of Honor game for Tarek Glenn, who's a fucking ball. Congrats, Tarek.
Congrats, Tarek. Sorry, Tarek.
Sorry, Tarek.
Sorry, Tarek.
Sorry, Tarek. Nonetheless, maybe Snyder does hate his life, being the most hated person in the NFL. Maybe Dan Snyder is sick of it. Tone Diggs painted a pretty, Bob Ross painting-like scenario. He went on like a 3-month vacation whenever he was duct taping his hands in his pockets so they couldn't get him a subpoena so he could go testify to the oversight committee. Oh, you haven't subpoenaed me. What are you talking about? We sent you an email. I don't have a phone. I haven't been on my computer. Well, we actually gave you where? Can't put it in my pockets. Pockets are taped. Hands got duct tapes on them. It's like Edward 40 hands, but I got no 40s. I just duct tape my hands, so you can't put a subpoena on me. Oh, we're going to tape it onto your shirt. Oh, it's actually a stickless shirt that I bought that actually created. So he was able to hide from a subpoena somehow. Even though the whole world knows that he was being subpoenaed, he was able to make an excuse. Oh, I didn't know. I know I was on my yacht in Napoleon's home island or whatever. He did that for 3 months. There was video service of them having a fucking party on there, having the time of their life, going to the spa, nobody really noticing who he is. Maybe getting $6 billion alongside being able to live that life was something that was laid out in front of him, and he said, you know what, fuck it. Yeah, I will go do that for the rest of my life. Or is Dan Snyder doing this to say fuck you to the owners and to the fans in the end by selling out, like 30% of his shares, picking up a couple $1 billion, getting more money in his pocket, and being the winner in the end, and buying a new yacht that is actually named Fuck You by Dan Snyder. These are all things that he could do because he is a movie character, it feels like. Darius, which way are you leaning in the Dan Snyder sweepstakes if he's saying fuck you to everybody, or is he actually selling the team?
I'm on that first one with Ty. I think he said fuck you. Looking at his history, his rap sheet, he may sell 5% of this team just to stir up this story. It'll be hilarious in the end. If
still be a massive deal.
Oh, yeah.
Like Bank of America Securities would certainly still be a part of this. Some big company would be a part of this. There's a lot of money transferring, coming fluid. By the way, a lot of this money would be coming fluid, so he could potentially invest in the team a little bit more if he ever wanted to do that. Maybe fix the poop pipes, that happen, do anything like that at the stadium, make his company better, or take it right to the fucking yacht shop, buy a fucking yacht and do his whole thing. We don't know what Dan Snyder is because Dan Snyder is what people have described as an asshole, a cockroach, and all these other things. Alleged. These are all alleged. We don't know him personally, but this was big news this morning that certainly got Commanders fans excited, and we're not 100% there yet because Dan Snyder's Dan Snyder until we see he is no longer Dan Snyder.
Yeah, percentage definitely makes the most sense, I think, but is there any chance that the Gruden lawsuit is kind of becoming more and going into more depth about the emails and that maybe something else even worse about Dan Snyder is about to come out and he might have gotten worse?
I don't know. Is there anything worse? Honestly,
I don't know, but I also
I'm sure there's always something worse.
Yeah, you can imagine him doing the worst thing.
But Snyder, like how it might be worse from our standpoint because we have morals and a conscience and stuff like that, right? I'm talking about for Snyder. He thinks everybody hates him already and says he's the worst human of all time. Like if something else comes out, is Snyder going to be like, oh no, can't do that? Even if it is, it's probably going to be terrible. If it is something else,
it was government.
That stuff's already come out.
Yeah,
short of him.
He stole from the other owners, allegedly. Yeah. He fucked over the government, Allegedly.
All the stuff with the cheerleaders and the workplace.
He's a sexist person,
Yeah.
allegedly. He's gotten his company exposed to being a terrible business like 4 times with the biggest newspaper in the fucking world. I mean, like, Dan Snyder has to feel like he is in the bottom of the bottom when it comes to social clout, I guess, at this point. So if anything else was to come out that wasn't, like actual forcible for him to fraud some sort, like
And not alleged stuff, like things that would be like, hey, this isn't alleged anymore. we
not
got
personal
you.
stuff. Like, and this is the big thing. It's coming into conversation, especially as we talk about politicians and shit like that. Like, I think punishable by crime things are things that can force somebody to have to do stuff.
Yeah.
When it's just punishable by community, I don't think that you know what I mean? Like, I think community, all of us judging Daniel Snyder, certainly a real thing, certainly can view however you want to view about him, and everybody alleges he's an asshole. But unless it's a punishable by crime thing, like if he typed something up in an email that was terrible, that's punishable by community stuff.
Yes.
Unless in there he is laying out how he perfectly executed a tax scheme around the government. They're like, well, now we have a paper trail for everything that you were doing. That could potentially be it, and we'll probably hear that soon. But if it's punishable just by community, I don't know why Dan Snyder would, because he's already viewed as the worst human on earth.
The tax stuff's already been alleged too. They talked about how they had the 2 separate books and all that kind of stuff. So like, there's that. Like, honestly, I think short of like him like having someone killed, like hiring a hitman and having someone killed, like I don't know what else could tarnish his reputation. And also going back to that, like him enjoying vacation. I think when you get in a position like that where everyone is kind of saying the same thing about you and they view you the same way, like I think he gets off on that. I think he likes being hated. It's like, hey, I got more money than you. I'll always have more money than you. Like, you hate me. Who gives a fuck? A lot of people hate me.
What was that show you guys had me watch where the guy was getting wax dripped on him?
Billions.
Great show.
That's what you're talking about?
Not necessarily in that same vein. Like, I don't think it's sexual, but I think he loves the idea that, like, oh, people hate my guts. They can't fucking stand me.
Oh, when you say get off.
Well, right.
It's been
but
like that for a while,
yeah,
too, with him. Like, in NFL circles, like, he's always kind of been that guy. Now it's become more and more public. But to your point with the community stuff, like the other owners that have kind of been forced to sell or forced out, Sarver and NBA, Sterling, Richardson, I feel like that was majority like community. It wasn't real like crime.
See, Richardson's the only one in the NFL, though, right? That was Carolina Panthers guy, and he was what, like 90? I think
He
was
sold. He was forced to sell too. That's different. Like the owners, they
But that was
could vote
community.
somebody out.
What D-Butt's saying
They don't
is
want to
that
have to
was-
get to that though.
that
They
was
got to push them. But he was pushed to it though. I think
Yeah.
because of all the pressure and everything going on, and the owners like, this is not a good look. Like someone had to tell him, hey, you better go sell this thing because we don't want to have to vote you out. That doesn't look good for anybody.
Well, and who knows if Snyder has stuff on everybody like that one Commander's executive. This could get dicey for the NFL, and we will continue. Sorry, the PAFL, and we will continue to watch along and report every single piece of information.
That's right.
Have to do it.
People are talking about it.
It is now time for us to do a segment that we love, a segment that has made our show better, where not only do we get a chance to learn from the roots of the teams, but we get to hear perspectives that we don't normally get to hear because we're national idiots, international idiots. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to feel the beat. Hey, that was good. You guys felt the beat right there.
Oh, yeah,
We're
big
about to feel the beat. Joining us now, writer for The Athletic, formerly of the Indy Star. He's a professor at Indiana University Media School.
wow.
A man that I know well. He's an incredibly talented guy. Ladies and gentlemen, covering the Colts, Zach Kiefer. What's up, boss?
What's up, man? How you guys doing?
Hey, we're great. Thank you so much for joining us. Are you at the building right now? What's going on? What are we
I am
waiting
at
for?
the facility. Practice is starting in just a minute.
Are they mailing it in? Zach? Hey, you get rid of Nyheim Hines. Nyheim Hines allegedly asked for his trade from the Indianapolis Colts. That's not good for the culture anyways. But are they mailing it in? Do you sense any, quit in this team, or you think we're still trying to go get it, Zach?
I think they're towing the line. I think a lot of guys were really pissed last week that they benched Matt Ryan. I think their voices and their words said that. And I think Nyheim, moving Nyheim, benching the quarterback, firing the OC, things are not good over here, Pat. Things are not good over here.
Not good, Zach.
I don't think they're mailing it in. They're not waving the white flag. But this is going to be a rough couple months.
Zach, what do you think of the timing of benching Matt Ryan? Was that a bit surprising to you? And where do you think that started? Does that start from the top? Is Frank Reich? Who all is involved in that?
Yeah, it started from the top. And the surprising part was that was weeks in the making. They had discussed that for a couple weeks. So you're talking about benching your starting quarterback after week 5. They did it after week 7. A lot of the offensive linemen were not happy. Now, they're part of the problem, right? This offensive line is really not performed well. But these guys love Matt Ryan. They love him, and that was a gut punch. They love Sam Ehlinger as well because of the offensive line. But Jim Irsay had his say in this quarterback decision, a lot like he did the last time.
Okay, I think we heard that you said that the team loved Matt Ryan, so whenever he gets benched, it maybe causes a little bit of a problem in the locker room. Then you fire the offensive coordinator, Marcus Brady, who I live in Indianapolis. I'm a Colts fan. I didn't necessarily know that Marcus Brady was the offensive coordinator. I thought Frank Reich was the offensive coordinator. Has there been conversations and discussions about giving up the play calling from Frank Reich or doing something different, or is that not even a conversation piece?
No, Frank Reich's not going to give up play calling duties. There's going to be more on his plate moving forward. He's going to call the plays.
Bill O'Brien.
Yeah,
and
smart.
All right, thanks, Zach.
Duties.
Zach, we're losing you. We appreciate Zach Kiefer. Zach, it's probably on our end, huh? Connection here with Reese and with Zach not great. Is that on our side or their side? What side is it, you think?
It was probably connected to the building's Wi-Fi.
And he was on the outside and the
That
inside.
they probably sent off an EMP because I don't want any of that news getting out of the building. It is on fire.
I think Jonathan Taylor's not practicing too. I thought I saw that.
Yeah, I don't think he's playing against New England because he knows I'm going to get fucking eaten because my O-line sucks.
All right. So, didn't sound good over there, AJ, did it? Didn't sound good from East 56th Street.
They're holding the line. Hold the line, he said, right?
No, he said towing the line.
East 56? Very different.
That's worse.
Yeah.
Hold and
You're right.
Yeah, much different.
It's a big difference.
We are the dumbest.
You said East 56 is where their facility is?
Yeah.
So if you have any problems, make a sign. Go stand outside the facility. Maybe something that says...
People know where the Colts facility.
Okay, I didn't. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's very...
2 Super Bowl, 2 parades this decade.
Do you know how many events they have up at that facility? There's like...
For asking for money from the people, or...
Well, I think you do have to pay most of those things to go
course.
to. But it's for charity. Charity.
Sure.
So you think Frank Reich's just going down with the ship then? It's like, hey, I've shown that my offense stinks, but I actually want more on my plate. Give me more. Give me more of it. Give me everything. Like, is he just prepared to go down with the ship now?
Hey, Marcus, I appreciate you. You need to go start looking for another job now. We're all gone. Maybe this was a friendly fire.
Yeah. Go
You know
find
what I mean?
another job. Sure.
Maybe this was, hey, did you hear what Bruce did? So when Tom Brady came back, Bruce said, all right, I quit. So Todd Bowles had Tom Brady and the boys. Now, it wasn't the same Tom Brady. It was technically Tom Brady, but it wasn't the same Tom Brady. He was looking out for his guys. That's what I'm doing here, Marcus. We're getting fucking fired here. I'm probably not getting hired again.
No way.
For a little bit. You should go start looking for another job right now. And with that being said, you're fired. Yeah. And then Jim Irsay. How about Jim Irsay puts out a tweet? Did you see that?
No.
Jim Irsay puts out a tweet like, we have come to agreement to release offensive coordinator Marcus Brady with a thumbs up at the end. And then it's a full article underneath. It's like, damn. All right. So is Jim involved in this? Is Jim not involved in this?
How's that split up, too? Like, you got the OC obviously putting the game plan together, but Frank was calling plays on Sunday. So how do you...
So this is like Bieniemy and Reed, right? Is this similar?
Yeah, like, I don't
probably.
know. That would be weird if I'm a play caller, like...
A lot of them.
And then you fire... so a lot of people... operate
Sean
like
McVay.
this?
So you just go through the Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, LaFleur probably. All the head coaches that call plays, I think, have this type of setup.
McDaniel.
But it's always a weird thing whenever they fire that offense coordinator because everybody's like...
Like, are the players
This guy's not running the
on point?
offense.
You know, how is the offensive line coach not? That would be probably the first, because that's the strength of this team. Should have been the strength of this team coming into the year. That's where they spent the most
You're talking
money.
about fired?
I don't like calling for people's jobs, but I'm saying
If we're sending a message.
that would be the first group I would look at, and then obviously, you've had a revolving door at quarterback. You got Sam in there now, brought Matt Ryan over, but I don't know.
How about the players not being happy about the Matt Ryan benching? That's interesting to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I like hearing that, by the way, about Matt Ryan. I like hearing that about the team, but it also kind of makes me bummed about what the fuck Sam Ehlinger's about to go do. These boys have seen him practice for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're benching Matt Ryan. What are we doing? What are we doing? With
Also, I guess it's maybe not on him, but Frank Reich is kind of a player's coach. Like, isn't it weird that he wouldn't go? I mean, like, going to a couple of those guys on the offensive, like if they were just like blindsided by that and didn't see it.
I don't think
coming,
he had any say. I don't think he had much say in it.
Well, it was reported that it was his decision. I think we kind of assumed that it came from the top down. But isn't that kind of weird that like there was no discussion there?
It's very weird. Everything's fucking weird.
Yeah.
We're not going to make the playoffs again. What's that?
You fire coaches in the season. Anytime you're firing a coaches in the season, it's not a great thing for the program.
There's going to be a players-only meeting here in the next couple weeks.
Oh.
We are staring down an opportunity for a players-only meeting happening in a couple weeks.
They might get kicked out of the league.
Somebody should
relegated.
No,
Yeah.
if somebody films it, this ain't right.
It might change the narrative. Might change the narrative on player-only meetings. People be like, "Oh, I get why they're stupid."
No, well, not everybody should know that. Okay, everybody should know that. And if you're having them, it's not good. And it's not going to be good afterwards. But if a video of players-only meeting gets out, that's even worse. Like, okay, so we're having a players-only meeting, and now one of the players in the players-only meeting is recording it and leaking it. Yeah. I mean, that's like literally as bad as it can.
Mm-hmm.
That is the bottom of the bottom of bad culture. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if there is a players-only meeting in Indianapolis, I hope I don't fucking see it. But it sure feels like there's a chance we might because the way Indianapolis is going. Wouldn't have said that just a couple weeks ago. We're going to win a Super Bowl, got a lot of shit to figure out. We have not figured it out. Speaking of figuring it out, let's continue to feel the beat. Let's go down to the Miami Dolphins. Beat reporter for the Dolphins, Kyle Cathcart.
Hey, Kyle!
Kyle, you've been on the Dolphins beat for your entire life. They're making moves. They get Chubb down there. We saw Tyreek Hill on Fortnite blimping in with a fat pig into his wherever he's going to go kill other fake cartoons. And he said, aha, I did an evil laugh. And then said, welcome to Miami, Chubb. Is this the year? Is these the vibes? And welcome to the show, Kyle.
Thanks for having me on, Pat. Longtime fan. I've been covering the Dolphins for 20 years. Hasn't been a buzz around the team like this since Saban quit on us in 2006.
People forget.
Or Dan Marino went into the Kingdom in 2000 and beat the Seahawks when they were still a part of the AFC, my friend.
Wow, you've been covering the team for 20 years. That's 22 years ago. That's amazing.
Wow.
That you were able to have that type of diction. AJ, your question for Kyle on the beat down there in Miami?
Yeah, Kyle, great hat, by the way. Nice beard as well. So they've been searching for the next Dan Marino since Dan Marino was there. Is Tua the next Dan Marino? Is he the left-handed Dan Marino that we need?
There is talk of that around town, AJ. As we talked about Dan Marino, when Dan Marino retired, he lost to the Jaguars 62-7, last game of his career. They then signed Jay Fiedler because Jay Fiedler kicked the shit out of the Dolphins as the backup for Mark Brunell. And since Jay Fiedler, we have still been searching for Dan Marino. Tua could be the one, AJ Hawk.
With what McDaniel's doing and what the front office is doing, is this a clear recourse of the narrative that Stephen Ross was trying to lose games a year ago? Do you think that plays into them going all in this year, or they just feel like now is the time?
It feels like now is the time. There was talk when Stephen Ross came off suspension. They hadn't won a game since he was back in the building, but now Tua's back. They're winning. I talked to Mike McDaniel this morning. Everyone's talking about Bradley Chubb, but he was grinning like the butcher's dog, as you guys say on this show. And he said, I took John Lynch, my old friends, out back for Jeff Wilson for a 5th rounder. He couldn't stop laughing at that.
Is that what he said?
Great out here.
He said he took him out back.
Great. He took him out back. He said 5th rounder for Jeff Wilson. Him and Mo start. Mike McDaniel run game is going to be electric out here, guys.
Speaking of Jeff Wilson, John Lynch actually came out and said that McDaniel, who was allegedly laughing in his face too, Kyle here, beat reporter for the Miami Dolphins, was a great dude and said he only sent Jeff to a good place. Jeff was happy about it. I bet you the Miami Dolphins team is happy about it. He already knows the system. You can drop him right in there and add another weapon. Boston Connor has a question for you, Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle, there's been a lot of talk about how the Bills are the clear runaway favorites in the AFC East, but from what you're saying and from what we've seen on the internet, it feels as though the Dolphins are planning to make a run here. What are the vibes in Miami, and how are the fans feeling about expectations going forward with all these moves at the deadline?
Expectations are very high. As we know, everyone has the Bills at the top. But the talk around the city, Connor, as you know, longtime Patriots fan, I followed the show. The Dolphins beat the Bills already.
Yeah.
So if you know you beat that team already, this team knows they can do it. That's huge going forward for a team like the Dolphins. Boston Connor.
Thank you, Kyle.
Darius Butler, who's a 9-year NFL vet, also Dolphins fan, has a question for you on the beat down there in Miami, Kyle.
Absolutely, Kyle. I know you locked in on the team, but you look like you know a little bit about betting too. What's those Super Bowl odds right now for those Fins?
Good question, Darius. I know you're usually a Dolphins fan. Nice to meet you, sir. The Miami Dolphins are plus 2,800 to win the Super Bowl. I myself have placed a rather large wager for them to do it. So let's hope it goes well out here in Miami, boys.
Hell yeah, let's hope it goes well. I don't know how large it is, but maybe let's not talk too public about that because we're dealing with immigration with somebody that looks like you. Let's not bring in the IRS as well. 10 Diggs, your question for Kyle.
Which leads me to my question, Kyle. Covering the team for 20 years, does the U.S. government know that?
Is there any other questions from the back?
We appreciate you, Kyle. Thanks for joining us as we feel the beat. Any final statements about the Miami Dolphins that the world needs to hear, Kyle?
It's our time. It's our time. It feels like that in Miami, Pat. Like I said, since Nick Saban quit on us in 2006, there hasn't been a buzz like this around the city, my friend.
We appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. On the beat in Miami, Kyle Cathcart. We'll continue to feel the beat. Obviously, we got Minnesota Vikings trip and the Niners to do in a couple minutes. Let's talk about this Miami team. Jeff Wilson was a deal that was made yesterday. Wasn't talked about much. McDaniel obviously knows what he can do from his Niner days. Lynch did come out and say everything that we said. Don't know if McDaniel said anything that he said to Kyle Cathcart there. That's a big-time signing. They're going all in. Offense, defense, special teams are good. Are the Miami Dolphins a fucking legit team this year? No, now, obviously, the cliche thing to say whenever we see a team building is like, hey, in the next couple of years, this team could really do it. Is Miami team this year, you think, or no?
This year. We just talked about beating the big dogs, Bills, early on with, half punch drunk Tua in the second half. He got that done. And then Byron Jones
back?
getting
He's
healthy. Yeah, his back, ankle. Byron Jones getting healthy, bringing in Chubb. So the defense kind of have been playing up to their potential. Yeah, but you bring over Jeff Wilson. You already got Mostert, who's familiar with the offensive scheme. And Mike McDaniel, he's everything everybody cracked him up to be, coming in and getting that job. So vibes are high, as Kyle said down there in Miami.
I'm happy they're able to have success because he can remain the same person. Right, AJ?
Yep.
McDaniel. If they weren't having success, everybody would expect him to change. Oh, shut up. What drugs is this guy?
Come on.
He's going plants or drugs whenever he's talking or whatever. But instead, they're winning, so he doesn't have to hear any of that shit. And I'm not saying that he ever would have changed. I think Mike McDaniel's been McDaniel since the beginning. But I'm happy they're having success with him being himself naturally, and I'm happy it's coming together. It's much better that way whenever that's how an era starts, AJ.
Well, yeah, it is, but also – like the front office, everybody is on the same page, it feels like, right? Like they're all in. It's not just like, hey, McDaniel's sitting there probably asking for a couple things here and there, weapons, whatever. It seems like they're all are on the same page. Like, hey, let's do this thing. He's got Tua playing well. We have all these pieces. Bring in Bradley Chubb. I mean, that was when I saw that, I was like, okay, here we go. Dolphins are for real.
Yeah, good for Chubb, too, moving into a state with no state income tax and also 95 degrees all year round.
Right when it's getting to be winter in Denver. Where'd he come from?
It's nice to live down there in South Florida.
Yeah, amazing.
Really?
It's too hot, right? Isn't it too hot?
A little bit more high-powered offense there, too.
Well,
yeah, you got two Lambos out there. It's tough lining up against Hill and Waddle. Like, you got to, as a safety, was talking about this with AB. He was like, man, like, my typical alignment every week is probably 17, 18 if I'm in the post. If I'm lined up against these guys, I got to be like 22, 23.
I was going to ask, their secondary's been the strength the last few years, but they've kind of stunk this year. Can they fix it?
I think they can. And Chubb, you get a pass rush, that's the best friend to a secondary. And if you watch them play, a lot of their pressure is 6, 7 guys lined up, and they're blitzing 0, which puts a lot of pressure on those guys on the back end. So if you can, get home with 4, 5 guys, that'll help that defense a lot.
Super cool sweatsuit today.
Very cool.
God. Yeah, super cool.
Very cool.
I was just going to say that.
Very cool.
Miami did lose their leading tackler, Byron Jones, for the season with a knee injury.
Oh, he's out for the year?
Yeah.
Oh.
The leading tackler.
That's the first bad news we've heard from the Miami Dolphins in some time. Let's continue to feel the beat. We're talking to a second-generation NFL man, a man who covers the Vikings on Vikings Game Day Live and also the Minnesota Gophers pregame show.
Ooh.
He's an analyst for Fox 9 Minnesota and KFAN 1003.
Hell yeah.
Dad played safety for the Pittsburgh Steelers back in the day.
Hell
He
yeah.
played in the
Hell
NFL
yeah.
for a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, Ron Johnson.
Yeah!
What's up, man?
How's it going?
Hey, thank you for joining us. D-Butt sent a text in. You made this happen. The Vikings seem to be a team that we need to talk about because not only on the trade deadline day just yesterday, did they make a massive play in their own division. Hey, Detroit, you've always been Detroit. Give us your best player. You'll see him 2 times a year. You get T.J. Hawkinson added to an offense that has been incredibly efficient thus far and kind of introducing itself to the NFL as a whole as a weapon. They add another weapon. Vibes got to be very high for the Vikings. Is expectation Super Bowl or bust this year over there, Ron?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the only reason you go in and trade. But let's go back to the draft. The Vikings traded within their division during the draft, and everybody said the moment was too big for the new GM and Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. So he turned back and said, hey, look, I hooked you guys up during the draft. Hook me up. Let me get T.J. Hawkinson. You guys suck. You're not going to do anything with this guy. So let Kirk Cousins handle him because we know we can. And I'm from Detroit, so I always have to go there. I grew up with Barry Sanders and Herman Moore and those guys. And so I was hoping Detroit. I actually picked Detroit to finish second in the division. Dumbest pick I ever made in my life.
Hey, Ron, say it with us. Hey, Ron, say it with us. Same old Lions. Yeah.
Yep, it's the same old Lions. Like, the Lions were lying. Like Spice Adams, who hit me up before after bring up what he said something about your haircut, by the way. But Spice Adams and I, we always talk about the Lions, and they find a way to rip victory away every time. The jaws of defeat just find a way to get them, and it's just going back to what they are.
Ron, how big of a deal is having Kevin O'Connell there for Kirk Cousins, especially at this point in his career? People either seemed, I don't know if he's like a love or hate thing with Kirk, but people don't trust him, I guess, as much. Is that trust, you think, continue to build with Kevin O'Connell there?
Well, I mean, I played in the Arena Football League for a little bit too, and I had Jay Gruden as my coach. Jay Gruden had Kirk Cousins with the Washington football team. I heard something though, like we can't say NFL, right? Or am I allowed to say? You
can.
Can't say
You can say anything you want. Yeah, we cannot.
'Cause I got a Vikings like Unreal shirt on, so I didn't know if I need to put a piece of tape over the logo for your show today. I wasn't sure what the rules about logos.
Yeah. That's it, because you work for the Vikings. That would be a Vikings thing, but it's on our
cover the logo.
I don't know. Hey, I'm thankful that it's not on camera because we'd be putting a real fucking
It's low.
conundrum.
Yeah, the logo is low. I kept it low, so I didn't want anybody bleeping me out or sending me a pink slip to my locker.
Smart, That's a good idea.
But there's the thing about
Smart.
Hey, you never know. There's the thing about the Vikings when you think about where they are and Kevin O'Connell. You go back to Kirk Cousins, who he's had as a head coach. Nobody ever really trusted him. That's where the "you like me" came from. That, or "you like that" came from. Pierre Garçon was on my show yesterday, and he talked about that too. Like Kirk, when he did that moment, that was a like "fu" moment, but that's Kirk's way of doing it. He's never gonna curse anybody out. And then fast forward to Kirk Cousins going off about somebody missing a route. Normally, Mike Zimmer would have stood on the sideline, dealt with the defense. Kirk would have had to figure it out for himself. Well, Kevin O'Connell comes over, sits down Kirk, grabs that tablet, says, "Hey, look, we're going to get this together." You know, fast forward to the Arizona game, 17-14. Kirk throws a 50-50 ball to Justin Jefferson and makes a catch. So that's just Kirk having a coach teaching him to trust the receivers, trust the process. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. And I think that's the key. He has a coach that trusts him. I mean, Kirk Cousins years ago would have never put on diamond chains on a plane with his teammates, and now he's doing it for social media. He doesn't care what the people think. You know, he's got the T-shirt tucked into the sweatpants, full dad mode. But hey, if one of his teammates wants him to have fun, he's going to have fun. I think that's what we're seeing.
How about Burke Cousins coming into his own? Little Kirko's doing his thing this year. Offensive-minded coach, somebody that seems to believe in him. Kwesi now kind of took a shot at him first day of training camp. Happy they've got past that. Seems like the culture's being built well. Pierre Garçon is an absolute dog. I was lucky to be his teammate. What up, Zoe? Darius Butler has a question for you, Ron.
Hey, Ron, we had a conversation before the season, I believe, about Kirk and kind of where he ranks amongst quarterbacks. And you've been around this team for a while now, and obviously you guys are off to a hot start. But do you think Kirk can take this team to the promised land this year and Kevin's first year as a head coach?
Well, I said it out the gate. Shannon Sharp came over the top with a Pat McAfee elbow across my head on Twitter.
I like that.
And tried to point out 10 quarterbacks he thought. Because I said, find 10 quarterbacks that you would take over Kirk Cousins right now. And this was the start of the season, not 6-1 before. He put Kyler Murray in there. I wouldn't do that right now. He put Russell Wilson in there. I wouldn't do that. And so I still believe what I said during training camp. Kirk Cousins, to me, the thing about a quarterback that can take a guy to the Super Bowl or to the NFC Championship game is when it gets down to it, when the bullets are flying, you need a coach to get your quarterback going, and that's where I think the Vikings against the Eagles, even though the Eagles beat the crap out of them, they struggled there. The quarterback, it's no way you drive down and you score the first touchdown and you never touch the end zone again. It's got to be something on the offense. And so when you look at that now, you have a guy like Kevin O'Connell that can keep Kirk ready to go. But I think Kirk can make all the throws. You look at the pre-snap ability now. Like I was with the Colts coaching back when I think, Pat, you might have been a rookie on the punt team. You might have been a rookie punter that year, like 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
But I came in during the training camp and a little bit of early in the season. Tom Moore had fake retired, him and Howard Mudd. And I remember what Peyton would do in those mornings, and so Kirk's doing that now. Kirk's understanding the offense now. He's understanding what can I do within the scheme. If the box count is favorable, I can just pop up and throw the ball to Justin Jefferson if I want to. I can run a quick slant. Like, he didn't have that ability before. We asked Gary Kubiak that. I was like, hey, can Kirk do what Peyton did? And he's like, no, I'm never going to let him call his own plays. Well, now you have a guy calling his own plays, and I think that's the big difference. Kirk is smart as hell. Like, you can't tell me a guy that went to Michigan State, even though Michigan State's not a smart school, went to Michigan State and just
hell yeah. It's a dumbass school, isn't it?
So
stupid.
Good
time though.
Great time there. Jump a dude in a tunnel. Like, that's not smart.
Hey, Ron, that was going to happen though. Hey, Ron, you play football. You've been around football, forever. That guy runs up in the middle of their thing. That was. Don't condone it. I don't condone it. Let's not fight. Let's not do that. What the fuck was going to happen, though? You know what I mean? Honestly, and
that was a stupid move. Like, just wait, let Michigan State get to the locker room and put Band-Aids on their wounds. He should have stayed out.
The best football thing, Ron, the best football thing that Michigan State has done this year, I will say, is that they proved that they are a team. Mm-hmm. And they said this guy cannot just swing his dick all over us after beating us in there. And I would argue that you should never fight anybody. Do not do that. What else was going to happen, though, with that tunnel? With how long it was just Michigan State? At some point, there was going to be a, you know what I mean?
End up here is the question.
Yeah, at some point there was going to be a batch. You know what I mean? Because he's running by like layers of them. It's like probably got like the bigger guys a little slower to the tunnel here. Mm-hmm. Then you got like groups, and it was a long. At some point, he was going to make it to a group that was not going to be about the shit. That was just, yeah, exactly. I mean, not good.
He just messed around and he found out. He found out.
That fucking crap. Back to your point, though. Kirk seems to be dominant, and also he's got legs. You saw him get the edge this past week. This is the best Kirk Cousins has ever been. And do you think Vikings fans are saying, hey, we want Kirk for the next 10 years now at this point? And was it ever like that before?
I don't know if it was ever like that before. I don't know if it's 10 years. I mean, the kid is 34. I think he's 34. So, I mean, honestly, though, if it's 4 years, you get him till he's 38. He's a really, he's not a guy that's going to be in the streets. Like, I remember when Reggie Wayne got married, and I can't remember where. I think it might have been Howard Mudd that said, man, the streets of Indianapolis are safer now because Reggie can't go out at night. Hey, that coach's meeting room, man, we used to have some fun in there.
Tom Moore was another man that was out and about. Me and Tom Moore were the only white people at a couple different places that I have seen him at. So you can go.
But when you look at Kirk Cousins, he's not out late. He's getting his sleep. He eats well at home. He's partnered up with Adam Thielen now, and he's doing the ETS workout stuff. So he's a guy that's going to take care of his body. But he has to understand, TJ wants money. Hawkinson came here for money. Maybe he'll get it here. Justin Jefferson wants $200 million. We know he deserves it. That's awesome. You got to figure out Dalvin Cook's contract. You're going to have to re-sign Christian Darrisaw, your left tackle, because I think he's the future. So Kirk can't expect to make $35 million up until he's age 40. Like, he's got to talk to Tom Brady and say, hey, what did that $18 million signing bonus look like, and then $1 million for the year? Like, how did that do for you? I think it did pretty well, and so that's where Kirk's got to start doing some stuff like that to not hurt the salary cap in those, maybe this next couple of championship years.
Kirk is a businessman. We do know that incredibly. Last question here for you, Ron. We appreciate your time. Go ahead, Tone.
Ron, a lot of talk around the Vikings. Is the offense?
I love the helmet, by the way, man. I love the helmet.
Whoa, Tony,
how did that get flipped?
Jesus. What helmet, Ron? Ron, you dry stick.
No logos, Ron. No logos, Ron. That's on me. That's my bad. A lot of talk's been around the offense. Is the defense
logo.
And a lot of the team with Zimmer was around defense. Like, are they Harrison Smith? Obviously, Zadarius Smith. Like, I think he's leading the league in sacks. Is the defense good enough to go get a Super Bowl?
Yeah, so this is the thing about the defense. We said they had to be a top 15 defense at best. They can be 18 somewhere in there because this offense is going to do just enough. And that's what you're seeing. These games before, the Cardinals game last year, where the Cardinals football team, because I don't know, what am I supposed to say? I don't know what to call them now.
You can do whatever you got to do.
But if you look at the Arizona football team,
look what you're doing.
Think about the Arizona football team. Last year, they beat the Vikings on a close game. You look at the Bengals or the Cincinnati football team. Love the drawing, by the way. Saw those. Those were some awesome drawings.
Thank you. Thank you. We felt good about that.
Yeah.
We did great.
My 8-year-old daughter said she could do better, but she said.
Whoa.
But when you look at when you look at those teams, those games were lost in close games. Those same close games this year, Kirk Cousins and Kevin O'Connell, they're finding ways to win. The last 2 minutes and 30 seconds in halves last year and at the end of games, the defense for the Vikings was not doing well. I don't know what was going on. Now they're fine. They're getting off the field, and they're putting the offense back on the field. Kirk Cousins at one point, I think, had like a 156 passer rating in the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds of every game up to like week 5 or 6. So they are doing just enough to win. So, yes, I think that defense with Harrison Smith, you look at Zadarius Smith, Danielle Hunter hasn't even figured out the 3-4 defense yet. Like, coming from his hand in the ground to standing up, that's a big difference. Like, it's not as easy as people think. And so when he figures it out how to get low like Zadarius Smith has been doing, because he's a 3-4 linebacker, he's going to have to teach Danielle a little bit more. This defense can get even scarier, or they just make it a hybrid and say, look, you know what, screw it. I know you're the outside linebacker. Put your damn hand in the ground because that's what you're comfortable doing. Let's get after this quarterback. And I think that's going to be the way. When you see Brian Asamoah, kid out of Oklahoma, really fast, when it's time to start spying a guy like Josh Allen, they're going to probably bring him in the game a little bit more. Cam Bynum at safety, played corner his entire life at Cal. He's playing safety, so now you don't have to go nickel or dime just to cover a tight end. You have a guy in Cam Bynum who's begging. Like he told me, he said, I want to be to the wide side because I know I can then cover somebody in man. And he played corner at Cal his whole life. So, I mean, there's a lot of flexibility with this defense. And that's what people were wondering about Lewis Seen. I saw him the last game. He's walking around just fine after, that gruesome leg injury. But people were wondering why he wasn't on the field. He wasn't on the field because Cam Bynum earned that spot. And I think that's the big key.
Okay. Ron, that was amazing. We appreciate you for joining us. Hopefully we'll get to chat with you again soon. Keep crushing it.
Let's do it, man. You
path.
got my number now, so anytime, as long as it's not late, because I'm asleep, but anytime I got you guys.
Hell yeah. We appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, Ron Johnson. It was awesome. Thank you for that, D-Bud.
Yeah,
I feel like we just learned a lot. Cam Bynum's a guy. This is what it just sounded like. And when he was talking about Danielle Hunter having to go from handling dirt to being up, I watched Robert Mathis do that. Robert Mathis had to do that towards the end of his career, and him and Freeney both. Yeah. Freeney was getting paid, I think, $17 million a year in the last year he was here. And they wanted him to move from hand in the dirt to in the middle or whatever. And then he got put on like a pitch count, only coming in third downs. The way he handled that, I think, now granted, he's getting paid a lot of money. And that's what everybody will say. But he was like the consummate professional in the locker room, incredible dude. But it wasn't as easy for him just to pick up and become. Robert Mathis was able to figure it out, and it took his game to like another level almost towards the end of his career. So
it's tough to do though, like you said. It's completely different position. You 4-3 DN, like you're doing the same thing damn near every play, every coverage. At 3-4, you got Rob Mathis.
He has responsibility.
Yeah, he got a curl flat. Like it's a completely different ball game for those guys that's just coming off the edge, snap in and snap out.
But it does happen. It does happen, and guys have been successful in the past. So let's assume that he will be successful in the past, or he'll be successful in it. And if he is, the fucking Vikings, what a fun team to watch. And Ron Johnson, incredible guy to talk to. Hopefully we continue to do that. Speaking of continuing to do that, let's continue to feel the beat. What happened?
What happened?
His phone number says it doesn't have a FaceTime connected to it. It just has like the phone logo. So
it's called the landline.
Didn't we get him before? Right?
Definitely.
Yeah, we've had him before.
Unless he changed his number.
Is he one of those?
New phone, who dis?
Yeah.
We ran over like 4 minutes. I actually felt bad. That's why I was like, we got to get to him. And then as the thing, Feel the Beat starts, he goes, nope. It was awesome. All right.
Lombardi.
Ron Johnson was awesome.
Yeah, the man.
Should have him on again.
Thank you, Ron.
I'm thankful that he looked awkward in his video too, because he didn't want to show the logo.
Good man.
Thanks for that.
Honorable.
I've gotten a lot of messages from a lot of people from a lot of different networks, a lot of different teams, organizations.
Oh yeah.
Say, what the fuck's going on with the NFL? I go, you tell me. Hey, why don't you?
I don't know.
Why don't you tell me? Why don't you find the lawyer fuck over there that decided to do this? You know what I mean, AJ? How is this how you do?
Have you got any answers? Have you done anything? You talked to anybody?
No. I mean, I reached out. I have not gotten an answer.
Our lawyer.
Raj hasn't. I figured you have like a sit down with Raj.
Goodell?
I mean, I don't think that's going to happen.
Open to it.
That should definitely happen.
$4.5 million. I don't think that's going to.
Good New York.
There's a lot of people that pay a lot of money to the NFL.
Yeah.
We are a very
Nominee, though.
small fry in this entire larger
Private.
fry thing.
Yeah. Probably have to add a couple zeros to that if you want to get Raj to come down.
Well,
I'm dealing with the lowest
Yeah.
management
Yeah.
right down here. Raj up here.
Yeah.
Then there's somebody probably pretty important. Then there's another level probably pretty important. Then there's another level probably we're starting to fade out of
Sure.
importance
Yep.
now. Starting to fade out here. Then just titles. Trying to get up here.
Yep.
Just kind of passing time. Definitely certainly in charge of things. Shouldn't be. Probably didn't earn it. But they're just waiting to get up here a little bit. We're dealing, I think, with this one down here.
Send henchman number 8 after
Down
Raj.
here.
right
doing-
below interns.
Right there at the who gives a fuck title section.
Yeah.
Probably don't even know the guy's name.
You know, there's a C-suites that happen with the chiefs of a company and then the owners and founders and everything like that. We're at the who gives a fuck level.
Yeah.
Friends of
Yeah.
a friend who has a job because their friends know somebody a favor.
Yeah. But which friend are they doing the favor for whenever they're attacking us for about fucking logos on a
Yeah.
graphic
It's interesting.
when you have footage rights, you know? That's the thing. Who, why, how?
What?
Will we
Money.
ever get those answers? Probably not. It certainly revolves around money. I guess we'll have to give more. It's awesome.
You think that's what it is?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I honestly have no clue. I have been dumbfounded by this still since, from everything I was told about how the NFL feels about our particular program and operation, to us doing the deal, partnering with the NFL for a piece and doing everything, getting the rights, doing everything like that. I own the show outright, so it's not like I'm owned by any network. Any sport, FanDuel does not own the show. Nobody. I own the show outright. I thought we had good relations to get. Like I thought we had pretty solid business relations, and then all of a sudden that gets dropped out on a Monday going into week 9. It's like, the fuck's your problem?
Yeah.
And then like just thinking about it every single moment that since it's passed, like why would this makes no sense at all to do it.
It doesn't help them. It absolutely cannot help the NFL.
That graphic we had to use from Monday Evening Football, they think that's the right. Like, what do you do? How is that even a good thing for the league? How is that good for the PAFL? Let alone us. Shout out to Corn Doggy LOL, by the way. Corn Doggy LOL, Reddit legend, Twitter legend. Send us an email to Phil. Send an email to Phil. Said, hey, you can use any of our logos any of my logos. I made them as a joke, but anything you need. So we appreciate Corn Doggy LOL.
Thank you, Corn Doggy.
LOL. Incredible talent here. Yeah, you got the Philadelphia Birds taking on the Houston Cows.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's happening on Thursday, and I can't wait for that. Let's continue one last time, though, to feel the beat. That was incredible. I'm happy we did that. I was getting confirmation in my ear. Yes, he has joined us. The eagle, not the Philadelphia ones, the eagle, in this case, a metaphor for the person we're about to talk to, has landed.
Hell yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us, a man who covers the Niners in an epic fashion with The Athletic. He used to work for ESPN. He is a Stanford grad.
Here we go.
Big brain.
Yep.
You can find him on Twitter at Lombardi himself. Ladies and gentlemen, David Lombardi. Oh,
What's going
no.
on?
The portrait mode just sliced off the left side of your face, I think.
I see myself there.
Slice your ear off.
Yeah, it's a little blurry, though, the whole left side of your face.
Oh.
You kind of look like the guy from Batman did the
Two-Face.
Yeah, Harvey Dent.
Yeah,
It's the first time I've done FaceTime on my laptop, and it
Oh.
portrait moded me.
No, you look good.
It's an
You
Apple
look
thing.
there at the beginning though. Just like a third of your face was blurry, and I'm like, okay, I hope everything's okay. Turns out it was technology.
Yep.
Lombardi's okay.
Yeah.
Lombardi's okay. That's good news. The San Francisco 49ers seem to be all in this particular season. Could you have sensed that? Did you expect that? And what a road this season has been from Trey Lance is our starter. Jimmy G's working out on another field. We're keeping Jimmy G. We're trading in for Christian McCaffrey. We're going all in. What a road it's been, and is it continuing upwards, you think, behind the scenes?
Well, it just reminds me of one of the first times we talked during training camp that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan really, really believe in this roster. And they made that Jimmy Garoppolo move when Trey Lance was still healthy to insulate the roster just in case something did happen to Trey Lance. It did. But I think what we've seen so far from the 49ers is a team that was led by their defense there the first few weeks. Then the defense got really banged up, and now the offense has grabbed the torch, and obviously adding Christian McCaffrey helps the offense. And anybody you talk to, so for me, after the game on Sunday, it was Trent Williams, who obviously has been around Kyle Shanahan. He's been around the league a lot, and the first thing he said was, I asked him about the offensive performance. He made sure that he hammered home complimentary football. He thinks that, and the 49ers think that they are strong on all three phases of the game, especially defensively, but now with offense, with Christian McCaffrey coming in, they think they have that formula to go a long way. So putting it all in for Christian McCaffrey makes a lot of sense based on the belief they have in their roster.
Go ahead, AJ.
I guess what are the possibilities of that offense? It feels like with Kyle Shanahan's brain and what he does, you get Debo in there, Christian McCaffrey, obviously Kittle, all their other weapons. Like, I would imagine people's expectations of the Niners has always been high over the last couple of years, but now I would imagine like people thinking, hey, we need to win the Super Bowl this year.
You know, if there was one question I had about this 49ers offense going into the season, regardless of who was going to be the quarterback, it was the pass protection, because they were breaking in 3 new interior offensive linemen. And with Christian McCaffrey, I think he is pass protection, and not because he pass blocks, but because he's such a good outlet man for for Jimmy Garoppolo. You already saw that against the Rams. He had those 8 catches, but that touchdown that they ran to the back pylon, he was the 5th read on the play. He was just, he was out in the flat, and he improvised. That was an ad-lib play from Christian McCaffrey. He knew where Jimmy Garoppolo might want to go with the football. He read the field like a quarterback, and he got there, and just before Leonard Floyd could get Jimmy Garoppolo, he was able to release that for a touchdown that I don't think the 49ers score in weeks before this. So I think that McCaffrey raises the ceiling of this offense considerably because he shields it from its biggest weakness, which is sacks, which is quarterback pressure, right? Because he's always going to be that outlet, and he could turn an outlet pass into a big play. They needed those hot reads against Kansas City. They weren't built into those plays. They're going to be built into every play now, with Christian McCaffrey being an option.
We're talking to David Lombardi, at Lombardi himself, who covers the San Francisco 49ers for The Athletic. A.J. Hawk is the concussion dealer. Christian McCaffrey is pass protection. My thoughts, is Christian McCaffrey and Debo Samuel interchangeable, or how do you see the ball being spread to Debo, Christian, Kittle, Ayuk? I mean, they have a lot of weapons now. Is it going to be like the Chiefs, where like one person goes each week that they think? Like, what is your feel on what the team's going to look like going forward?
Yeah, I do think it's going to be kind of a rotating cast who has a big game, because you go to what the defense dictates. So obviously Christian McCaffrey had those 8 catches against the Rams, but let's not forget that Brandon Ayuk was the leading receiver, and this is the first stretch of Ayuk's career where he's had at least 80 yards in 3 straight weeks. So consistency has been one thing that the 49ers have been looking for from him. It's his 3rd year now. He's quietly delivering that consistency, and they didn't have Debo Samuel against the Rams. And I think, you have these complementary skill sets on offense too. Debo's just going to straight run people over. Christian McCaffrey is a little bit more elusive, right? He's got some physicality to him too, but he's nowhere near as big as Debo.
Too much.
And Brandon Ayuk is kind of a combination of he's wider now than he ever was, but still a little bit more of the elusiveness for him. While George Kittle's another bulldozer. So you have different varying ways of breaking tackles and generating yards after the catch, to where Kyle Shanahan can mix and match all these together. And it's Jimmy Garoppolo's job to play point guard, to make sure that everybody does get the football and to make sure that the right matchups are capitalized on.
Hey, make sure you don't piss anybody off, Jimmy G.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Everybody needs the ball. Darius, your
His
question.
birthday today, by the way.
Oh, happy birthday,
Hey,
Jimmy
birthday,
G. Happy birthday.
He got a good birthday present there with Christian McCaffrey. They were
Oh, a little early.
It's funny. Jimmy Garoppolo always talks about Christian McCaffrey sees the field like a quarterback, and Christian McCaffrey's already saying, "I love the way that Jimmy sees the field." You could tell that they have that instant rapport, kind of like
Chemistry,
Jimmy
yeah.
Garoppolo had with Sanders a couple of years ago. Emmanuel Sanders when he first came in, that really helped the 49ers in 2019.
Yeah, you're talking about that flat turn up. It seems to be incredible chemistry. Just two guys playing football on field together. That's all they are. Very quickly. They have another bye. They have a bye week, so it's another.
Yeah.
They got another a lot of time to kind of Christian McCaffrey get baptized into that offensive playbook. Excited to see what they do. Darius, your question for David Lombardi.
I'll go to the other side of the ball over DeMeco Ryan's defense. Lost Emmanuel Mosley a few weeks ago with the ACL injury, who's having a great year. Any update on Jason Verrett, his return to that defensive lineup?
So they activated Jason Verrett from PUP. He's on the active roster, and I think they're going to try to get him out there on November 13th. The next game is Sunday Night Football against Justin Herbert and the Chargers. And you're absolutely right about Emmanuel Mosley. He was, I can't say quietly playing great football. I thought it was pretty loud. He had that pick six against Baker Mayfield. That was such an important part of their defense. Charvarius Ward's been great on the other side, but if they can pair Ward with Verrett, who, last time we saw him was playing really, really high-level football, this defense can get back to being one of the top units in the league. They fell off there against the Chiefs in the first half against the Rams, but Verrett might be back on November 13th.
Connor, your question. Last one for Lombardi himself, David Lombardi.
Lombardi, do you think that the Niners are done adding pieces, or do you think there is a chance that Odell is actually on their radar and they might make a move to get him? And after
Did we start that shit? Yes. Did we start that?
Because there was a conversation in the article where the person asked Shanahan about it. They referenced the conversation with
Schefter.
Schefter.
Yeah, when we were talking to Schefter, because it just makes sense if Odell is just scouting, which we all said he was doing earlier in the year, right? He's just scouting. The Niners right now seem to be an arrow up to, I think this way on the screen. They're doing that right now. That'd be a team for him to go to. Is that something you think is possible? Great question, Connor.
He's a free agent, so if they have injury issues, there's no deadline is what I'm saying. If they have some more injury issues, then maybe. I don't see it in their current state, though. Right now, we talk about how loaded they are, and they have plenty of pieces to be a high-octane offense right now. So, injuries can happen. This was their first game since I started covering the team that they didn't report any injuries afterwards. But you know how it is. So I would never say never, but as it stands right now, I think that they're set with what they have on offense.
That's awesome. I had a teammate who didn't know he had a concussion on a Sunday till Friday, so let's keep our eyes peeled for that over there in San Francisco. Yeah. His locker room's right next to mine. You probably know who it is. Can't thank you enough for joining us. You do great work with The Athletic and on the internet, and especially when you join us. Ladies and gentlemen, David Lombardi.
Yay!
Yeah, and it showed up on the injury report for a concussion on Friday. Yeah.
So you practice all week?
Yeah. Didn't happen in practice, though.
Hey.
Exact words were, normally I remember setting my alarm and turning my alarm off by Thursday. It didn't happen yesterday, and then obviously didn't happen today, so I thought it was a problem. It's sounds like,
smart.
When's that happen? Every game I've ever played. I just watched Concussion. You shouldn't. Yeah. Don't watch it. Don't watch it.
Jeez.
That was a scary day. Yeah. That was a scary day. Can we get this guy?
That was like his routine? That's routine for that guy?
That's the way it was delivered to me. The way it was delivered to me was a very sincere, because you go on a concussion on a Friday or whatever. It's like, damn, in practice, what's going on? No, it's from. You practiced just yesterday, though. Yeah. Well, normally, and then just like a matter-of-fact promo. That's the way it was delivered, was just matter-of-fact. Normally, I remember doing these things, and alarm was one of them and some other stuff. By Thursday-ish, I starts I did, and my wife kind of forced me to. It's like, oh my God.
Jesus.
Oh my God. We need to get this guy some brain pills. Is there any brain? Can we get him a Sudoku? We need to get him a crossword puzzle. Yep. We need to get him a coloring book. Can we do? Fuck the place, pal. I think you're going to. Person's still good, by the way.
Sounds like one tough son of a bitch.
Tough son of a bitch. Yeah. I mean, one of the toughest of all time.
Oh, yeah.
One of the toughest of all time. Mm-hmm. In Ohio, not from Ohio.
That's right.
Which is. A really special type of party. Let's get to a break. Let's take 5. I appreciate everybody from Field of Beat. Thank you, Lombardi. Thank you, Ron Johnson. It was awesome. Thank you for the plug there. Thank you to Kyle Cathcart covering the Dolphins for the last 20 years. Reference something he was covered 22 years ago.
Yeah, I was just a fan, man.
Just a fan. You're right. He had to put his fanhood aside
That's right.
when he became a journalist.
Time to get into this.
Which we appreciate Kyle for doing.
Thank you, Kyle.
Great seeing you, Kyle. Hope you come on the show again soon, maybe in person. And then Reese Davis, obviously, led off the show talking about the college football playoff rankings. This man's team, the Ohio State, is number 2 in the country, behind Tennessee, ahead of Georgia, which is this weekend's college game day. Excited for that. Let's take 5. And before we do that, let's go ahead and, CFO Phil is in the building.
Yeah,
that's right.
CFO Phil was actually asked to be a part of a news segment. A local news segment just within the last 24 hours.
That's cool.
And I don't know if he gave a quote or not, but CFO Phil has become a character because CFO Phil obviously hates everything that we're about whenever we do our giveaways.
That's right.
Phil is currently standing at the door. I don't know if we have a camera that can shoot him where he's standing. He is literally right underneath this. Can't get there. You probably have to use this camera right here. Probably have to use this one and turn it. Oh, he left.
He's gone.
Phil.
Oh, he's shy.
What a
Camera
weasel.
shy.
Oh, he's shy. Phil. Phil doesn't. Phil Mikey doesn't want to be on camera.
Sorry, Phil.
Oh, he's good fade today, too. Very good fade today. Anyways, he's getting a chance to watch up close and personal. And what happens? He gets a chance to feel the pressure that is palpable. That if Darius does accomplish his feat, somebody does deserve to win.
That's right.
It is earned. It is not given. No, this is earned money for people that have followed along with this show, that are able to somehow withstand the amount of dumb shit that comes out of our mouth on a daily basis. So if Darius Butler can make
2? Jesus.
Perfect.
2 out of 5.
We like it.
Come on, D-Butch.
Come on, D-Bot. Just hit it.
Oh! CFO Phil, who is back in his perch right there in the window, put his bad juju on
hit the
to that ball. He must go 2 of his last 3.
That's good speed.
There he is, Phil, looking over his shoulder like a horror character, looking on as he hopes for the worst for a man.
Oh, that was the worst.
Now he'll make these 2. You'll make them both.
Here we go.
Pace here is a little bit of a knee knocker.
Phil was
Be careful.
Phil has a fist pump in the background.
Yeah, big celebration from CFO Phil.
Whoa! Oh, D-Bot. Jeez Louise, buddy.
That's good speed, though, D-Butt.
Maybe. At least make 1, right? Oh, God.
All right, next hour.
Lord.
Next hour. I haven't seen you guys make a single putt.
Sweet G. I haven't tried yet, but good Lord, I'd at least get it to the hole.
Connor up next then.
No, lefty club, sorry.
Connor celebrating, CFO Phil celebrating, Diggs celebrating. It is interesting how the tide has turned on the contest and giveaways once the boys might have heard the amount of money we've actually given away from the company. That is also in said local news segment that we believe will be airing relatively soon. AJ Hawk.
Is it one of Joe DiNardo's relatives doing it?
Whoa.
Shut up.
Maybe.
Why not?
Who knows?
Love you, Joe.
I think it is an Italian doing the reporting.
So basically one of his family members.
We don't know if that's true, but
there he is.
Rest in peace, Joe.
Rest in peace, Joe.
Miss you, Joe.
Miss you, Joe.
Gone too soon.
Was he coaching wrestling in
How
that
about
right
Project,
photo?
how about Project Bundle? Probably. He's probably wrestling somebody. Wrestling terrorism. You
stolen
remember when
threat.
there was war on terrorism? Joe Nardo came out in one high school gym and wrestled terrorists.
Yeah.
Pinned. Won. Flat. Exactly. Flat back.
First round.
Joe Nardo not only reads the Doppler incredible, he can go back and read the fucking old school road map too. You know, before they had the Doppler,
Oh, yeah.
he just had to look up in the sky and draw arrows. Look at those fucking arrows. He was spot on. Not only that time, but every other time he stepped foot in front of that map.
Warmer weather coming in.
There's a cold front.
70s and sunny.
Fucking miss you, Joe.
Love you, Joe.
Miss you, Joe.
Hell yeah, Joe. Joe Nora did not do the local news segment about our giveaways.
No.
Damn it.
Unfortunately.
It will be a familiar face, though, AJ.
Tell you what, young Joe kind
okay.
of looks like our internet guy.
Young Joe does have some Billy in him. Yeah.
Holy
Good
shit.
point.
For those that are wondering what our internet guy looks like, that don't know, obviously, on the show, this is just for us, apparently. That's him.
That's it. Right there. That's Billy.
Yeah.
Billy, Marine. Tech guy.
Also
Yeah.
fought terrorism.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
They both have just as many combined kills.
I don't know.
Billy's got like 75 confirmed kills.
Well,
You don't think Joe does?
the amount of storms that Joe.
We don't know if that's true. He has never told us that. These are just our assumptions after
Take
talking.
one look at him, and I know.
Boom.
You should see the way he walks. He walks marching. He still has he's retired, so he's a little bit more casual. But he still has the marching. You can see that he has been taught how to walk.
Yeah, you guys said when you were in the Capitol, not for AJ's birthday, but when you visited Gonzo, that you went and saw Billy's redacted records, and it did say 75 confirmed kills.
So I do not know if Billy's records are in the Capitol or not. That would make sense. They might be in fucking
maybe Pentagon
Yeah.
or
Couple stages
Heaven?
above.
White House? Heaven?
All I know is you take one look at him, you say this man is incredibly proficient with pistols,
What?
automatic weapons,
Slide.
assault
Internet.
rifles,
Slide.
Slappers?
snipers,
What?
internet,
What?
installation,
What?
drinking booze. Apparently, he was telling some stories yesterday.
Oh, he's boozer?
Yeah, he was getting liquored up on Halloween. Had a bourbon table set up. Beers.
Oh my God.
Whole nine.
Hey, we
Loves the
enjoy
camp,
it.
too.
We love this guy.
Jack
AJ
Carr.
You can
He's
tell
the man.
You can tell by the way we're talking about him that we love him.
Yeah.
There's some people
Yeah.
you've heard us talk about, and it's very evident that that's probably not the case.
Yeah. Did I mention hand-to-hand combat? I didn't, but yeah.
proximity.
Don't give him a knife.
You're
Do not give Bill a knife.
Yeah, if you want
Slappers
the whole
over.
entire town.
And on the flip side, Donardo can't do all those things,
Can't.
Well,
but he sees a
Yeah, he might
Doppler.
have.
He saves lives.
That's right.
Boom. Thank you, Joe and Bill.
Thank you, Joe
Thank you,
and
Joe and
Bill.
Bill. Joe has saved as many lives as Bill has taken. It's probably the good comparison.
We don't know if that's true. Once again, these are all
Yin and
things
yang.
that we have assumed just strictly from our conversations and watching Billy do his thing.
Yeah.
Calculated,
Oh my God.
calm,
Yeah. Under pressure.
so calm.
Mm-hmm.
Like a young Shinzu.
Did you ever see The Day After Tomorrow?
Of course not.
It's a movie based on Joe DiNardo's life. He's a meteorologist that basically predicts the storm of.
Is it a documentary?
Yeah, it's
Essentially.
the storm that's going to end the world, and Joe DiNardo saves everyone pretty much.
Yeah.
I got you.
Sounds like a real doc.
It is. Joe DiNardo, played by Dennis Quaid.
Yes.
Well, if the world ended, that's crazy. Is it
Randy.
true, Doc? Or
No, it didn't end. They got through it.
Yeah.
because Joe?
Because Joe knew. Yeah.
Joe knew.
New York took a
The good news.
New York did.
Not
take it.
that Joe.
Not that
Not
Joe.
that Joe.
Nebraska.
Joe D.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Joe
Joe
D
D.
knew.
Joe D knew.
Joe P knew too, but
All right, let's get to a break. We've spent 12 minutes on this. I actually thought to myself, we're doing pretty good getting through today without doing any really dumb shit.
Love you, Joe.
This is not dumb, by the way.
No.
Rest in peace,
No.
Joe.
Tribute.
No.
AJ,
Easy.
enough.
You son of a.
Joe DiNardo's family. I just hope someone sends him these clips and how much love Joe DiNardo gets. Like I would be pumped if my dad was dead and I found a great program like this just kept pumping this guy up. It'd be
He's
awesome.
not dead.
It's not pumping a guy up. We are also just sharing facts.
Celebrating
never die,
His
AJ.
life. I know. That's what I'm saying. His family has to be juiced.
Well, AJ, you'll be happy to know I just did a little investigating here. While Joe DiNardo did live in Moon Township, he was actually born in Martins Ferry, Ohio.
Whoa.
Joe's an Ohio guy.
Ohio
Martin's
fucker.
Ferry too. Martin's Ferry, Pat. He is a tough dude too. There's
Oh.
whoa.
Didn't know that about Joe.
No. I don't know how I feel about Joe.
Joe Ohio DiNardo.
No.
That's what it sounds
Wow.
Joe Haya DiNardo on the Doppler saving Pittsburgh.
he's really been Benedict fucking Nick lately. It's really starting to piss me off.
Yeah, what was the deal? That's information you can keep inside.
He
What do you
also
mean?
he
Why?
also sent
Why?
D-Bud a play for later. Hey, watch how bad the Steelers did on this play. Send it to fucking D-Bud to highlight on the
man.
show.
Hey, don't know if this was in your what you were thinking about doing, but should definitely highlight how bad this Pittsburgh.
Guess
Steelers-
what, Tony? Millions of people saw it on Sunday.
No, they didn't. It
I
wasn't a
got it.
national game.
A lot of people turned that game
It
off
was.
in the first quarter.
Yeah.
A lot of Pittsburgh people turn. Speaking Thursday night Pathfield game,
Yeah.
both cities being represented on Prime, which I think we're allowed to say.
Prime.
Well,
I think we are. That's not the.
Hopefully.
I personally I pay for Prime Video, so I think I can say it.
Me too.
well,
but I don't know.
Pay for.
Anyways, these two cities, Philadelphia, Houston, also playing in World Series on Thursday. Could be clincher, right?
Could
Yeah.
be.
Could
Yeah.
be. No one in Houston is going to watch the Thursday night
Yeah,
game.
because Phillies are up 2-1. Is there a
they
game?
play tonight.
Yeah,
and then
definitely
tomorrow.
clincher. Yeah.
Could be clincher tomorrow.
Yeah.
So-
No one in Houston is going to watch this game.
And
no
if
one.
if the Eagles jump out to a lead, which they will, all the Eagles fans are probably going to go watch the Phillies.
I think.
How about Bryce Harper in the run he's on? So I don't know baseball well enough. That fucking thing just looks
Beach
this
ball.
big to him right now?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Is that what they were doing with that gum? That's why that gum was so good? Because they were on HGH and way back. And I'm not saying that
Greenies?
Bryce isn't doing that, but back in the day, they chewed that gum, their testosterone level would get lifted, and then the baseball looked bigger.
I don't know if the baseball was looking bigger. It's just like, hey, we need to make sure if I make contact, I need to hit this thing 800 feet.
But Bryce is seeing the ball very well.
Oh, yeah.
I saw Todd Frazier this morning on Get Up breaking down what the tip was.
That was
And
awesome.
I guess glove straight back like this, it was going to be a curveball or whatever, and then glove closer to his head like this, it was going to be fastball. And that was a read that they got, and Todd Frazier got it. Todd Frazier said, I wasn't even that good of a hitter, and if I got to tell, I could tell what it was. So I don't know if somebody told him that was the tell or he figured out that tell, and if he's wondering why he wasn't able to figure out those tells earlier whenever he was playing, and now he's doing it as a broadcaster. Nonetheless, incredible segment. I love Todd Frazier. Great fade on him.
Oh, yeah, Todd
and,
Father.
And the way they broke that down, that would be a great piece of information to have.
Oh, yeah.
As you're standing in a batter's box of a fucking World Series game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh my God, I know this is BP all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Homer.
It becomes batting practice
Mm-hmm.
home, and it looked like that. For
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he was missing spots big time, but yeah, if you have that kind of I mean, like they said, Bryce Harper, one of the dudes who hit a homer, younger guy who was struggling, and he was in the on-deck circle, and Bryce Harper called him over. He was like, hey, fucking look for this, and then boom, hits a homer in his next at bat.
And we're assuming that Frazier said that Bryce Harper told him, like, hey, trust the tell. Like, that's what Frazier thinks that he told him. Like, trust what we thought.
Okay.
Trust the tell. That's what he said. But it could have been anything, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
it could. I mean, Bryce Harper. Yeah, they're definitely not saying what the tell was because you don't want to fucking let a guy know, hey, we know what you're doing with your windup and your delivery and stuff like that. So he didn't publicly say what it was, but they know.
But Bryce right there to him, just reminding him, like, hey, remember.
Oh, yeah.
I literally just fucking
Hit a
bomb. I just hit a bomb. It is 100% real. Remember when we watched that film last night in our team meeting room or whatever in the hotel? And our fucking coach goes, hey, the glove's this way? What's he doing? I think of Chuck doing it. I think of Chuck. The guy's hands are on his, what are they doing? Guy's hands are, what are they? Every time. Watch the film. This is what Chuck was saying. Watch the film. It's every single time. So whatever coach, the batting coach, the hitting coach, whatever it was, finds this and they run the film and they're like, hey, in the middle of his pitch, if that fucking glove is going straight back, fastball's coming. That glove goes through his head, curveball's coming. And then, like, the coach probably looked at it like every time. There's no way this guy's in the World Series doing that. Like, every fucking time, like, selling it. And then all of a sudden, first fucking, boom. And then Bryce reminds this guy, like, hey, everything that was said last night, 100% true, go in there and do it. And then that guy hits a fucking bomb. That's awesome. That's like the game inside the game that I don't know about because I didn't play baseball, AJ.
Well, yeah, it's the fact that it happened in the World Series like this in such a big moment too, and Todd Frazier acted like, well, how big of a deal is that if you get that tell? And Todd Frazier got so juiced. He's like, it's like Christmas morning when you get all the presents that you asked for. Like, it's that awesome.
And that's why everybody said the Astros a couple years ago when they knew what was coming makes baseball a lot easier. It seems like that can happen with a tell of a pitcher. I didn't know this type of shit was happening. Is this every single night of every single season?
Not necessarily. It's just like when a guy is tipping pitches and you get a tell on it, like all these guys are fucking unbelievable. Like, they're unbelievable hitters. So if they know what's coming, and like that's why it's massive because two of the guys who hit homers last night are batting 7 and 9 in their batting order. It's like you're usually not expecting that type of production from the bottom of your order. And when you get it against a team that's as good as the Astros, like, Harper's going to get hits. And Kyle Schwarber, he led the NL in homers this year. Like, those guys, if they get tells, like, they will make you pay. But you're not expecting, I think 7 through 9 in their order, like, they got like 5 hits last night and had like 3-4 RBIs. Like, you're just not expecting to get that kind of production from the bottom of your order.
Yeah, I think the tells aren't as likely during the regular season because you're playing 162 games, new city every day, new pitcher every day. But they had like a week off in between their last series and this series. I assume they were doing a lot of scouting and watching tape on pitchers and stuff like that.
And Bryce Harper did not get cold during that week off.
No, he did not.
I'm happy for Bryce, dude. I'm happy
He's
for
fun
him.
to watch. He is really fun to watch. Schwarber, too. I mean, does Schwarber just hit homers every time he's in a playoff game or the World Series?
Or strike out. Yeah, that's kind of his MO.
Yeah.
Schwarber's a dog.
Yeah.
He's an Ohio guy.
Great locker room guy.
So Harper, This is for the Phillies. He does this rounding second. Is that just a love you to the ball that he just fucking smashed?
Love you, ball.
Or is it?
Probably both, ball and the Philly fans.
It's for the. That's
Apologizing to the ball.
I didn't know if he did that every home run, like it was to the ball, like thank you, ball, love you, ball, and then just continues.
Could be.
His trot is good. His trot's entertaining. They cut off.
His swing is awesome. His whole swing is awesome.
Well, that one he took to break
smooth.
the record or whatever, he fucking hit it this way.
Yeah, Oppo.
Yeah, and it wasn't like his smoothest swing. And I think whenever guys are getting those out, that's when everybody's like, oh, this is.
Oh yeah, hitting it on to hit it as far as he did, Oppo. You got to hit it on the fucking screws, big time.
Good for him, man. Congrats to the Phillies, all the Johns over there.
Yeah, and you got to be a strong son of a bitch, and he is.
He's an ox.
He's an oxen.
Let's get to a break. We did a little baseball talk.
Yeah. That was actually and that was one of the games where all the runs were scored in the first 5 innings. I watched the first 5 innings, then went to bed, saw everything. It was awesome.
Yeah, I don't think I could watch a game still.
No.
Plus,
I'm getting closer though. Now that I'm learning that type of shit's happening, you know, I didn't know that there's that level of strategy.
You got like 2-3 days left.
Another game tonight.
No, I'm talking about going into next season. You know, like am I gonna?
Oh yeah. You'll remember it.
Yeah, you're right. We have nothing going on.
You're going to announce us, hey, pitchers and catchers in a week, guys. You're going to be so pumped to open up spring training.
No, if you're trying to read body language, though, every single hit, like there's a lot more.
They're reading everything. They watch iPads in between at bat. Like they watch everything now.
I like that. I like there's little
pitchers are watching
gamesmanship.
hitters too, though. Pitchers watching hitters, catcher, all that.
I just think it's that one dude pitching against a whole team, and if he sucks, the team sucks.
Yeah.
All right.
That
See you
happens.
tomorrow.
That happens too.
162 times a year. All right. This game does. This is a home run derby, either a good one or a bad one, every single night, 160 times. Got it. But this is awesome. This whole Philly story, because the fans over there, the Johns are awesome. So like the sound, they said it popped up on the seismic thing, or the Richter scale for Penn State. It popped up on the home run, but that bat sound crack and then the roar.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Oh,
the videos from the crowd. I love the videos from the crowd.
Dude, as soon as Wood hits ball, like an automatic, it's gone, and it is. It's the fucking drinks that were getting thrown up in the air while he was rounding third on that. I mean,
The Phillies had the worst record going into the playoffs. Like they just squeaked in, but they're so hot, and it's just like they're
like the Celtics, but their coach probably isn't just.
Congrats to that coach. He's going to get another gig.
Yeah, he's getting hired with the Nets.
Yeah, it's going to take a first-round pick to get him, but yeah.
Worth it.
Who cares?
Oh, really?
The Nets had Kyrie scored 4 points last
Exactly,
night.
they suck, so that pick is going to be good.
Let's get to a break. On the other side, we'll do everything DB with Darius Butler. We'll get smarter from talking to Darius and learn from him breaking down film of secondaries around the NFL. 20 minutes ago, he did miss 5 straight putts, so we will not be giving away anything. But maybe at the end, we'll get another opportunity. We can't thank you enough for watching. Take 5! Right, Ty, that's what we say.
Ty, what do we say usually?
No more beating around the bush.
Can't be around the bush, Ty, can we?
That's right, no beating around the bush.
I'm sorry, Coach Lou Holtz, is that what we say?
No more beating around the bush. That's right, AJ.
And joining you, Coach, is who?
U.S. Army Captain Nathan Algren Pata, The Last Samurai, Tom Cruise.
Tone Diggs, one half of the Hammer.
Down.
Cowboys dressed as.
Formerly known as Anthony John Soprano. You
Tony.
know him as Tony Soprano.
Middle of court, obviously Dirty, who is the exact replica of Russell Wilson. Hey, appreciate you, Russ. Good win in London.
Russ.
Foxy, what are you?
Just a Lions fan. Just say it with me real quick. 3 words.
Same old
Lions. Peacemaker, John Cena. Pleasure to help you out.
Is that who I think it is?
Hey, AJ, it's good to see you again. I haven't seen you since rookie year. I brought you a gift. I got this briefcase full of money here. The governor told me it was something about welfare. I told him, just tell them farewell to all those poors and their money. This is ours now.
AJ Hawk. Who's that?
What's up, guys? Sorry, I've had to kind of move this mouse a little bit. Kind of move it over. I'm just saying, I'm no one in particular. I'm just a random Chuck Berry fan, but this mouse is very claustrophobic already. But I'm going to make it ride for the next 2 or 3 hours.
Hey, wow!
Oh, it's goofy.
Hey.
See you guys again.
We love you, Gump. Bruce dressed up as a little latte Jordan Schultz.
Hey, Pat, it's so awesome to finally be here.
All right.
Oh, whoa.
All right. Mid is Nija Houston, skateboarder.
Oh, nice.
Hey, baby.
They have a broken foot, too.
Yeah, they hit a torn ACL. And AJ has some final parting words for you.
Chef, are you going trick-or-treating tonight?
I wish I could, you know. I wish I could take my daughter trick-or-treating, but we have Monday Night Countdown, and Monday Night Countdown falls on Halloween.
I thought you might be doing something cool around the stadium or something.
Yeah, of course, AJ.
I wish.
Hey, you do a great job on there. Can't wait to watch. We appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Schefter.
Yeah, Shefty.
Thank you, buddy. I hope you're happy.
What kind of parting words do I ever have for anyone we talk to? I didn't realize, maybe just because I'm older, I get claustrophobic wearing this damn mask.
I fucking hate wearing this thing. Let's be honest. I mean, I'm just kind of looking at the clock right now and it's, oh boy, I got another hour and a half in here. To be honest, I can't really turn my head sideways. I can't really see much because I do have my headphones on underneath here. And then I tried to take a sip out of my drink here. Can't do that either. It gets caught up in the thing here. So I don't know. We'll see. Happy Halloween, everybody. Okay.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Hope everybody's happy. AJ.
What is AJ?
I am so sweaty.
Look like a bleached serial killer.
I'm very pale. This is much paler than I am, even, I feel
I
like.
guess Zito just told me in my ear here. People are saying you look like the Wayans brothers with the white chicks.
Oh, no. I thought Z was going to say Todd Chrisley.
Oh, boy. Maybe that's who I am.
When you picked that mask to be purchased, what was it? Why was it, you think?
No, I was trying to go on and look up like legit masks. You know when like Chris Long was wearing a mask of like Edelman, they had those. I wanted something like that was really good. I mean, I paid too much money for this. It's not as nearly as realistic as it showed on the website.
Oh, you don't say. You got duped, pal. Jesus Christ, it's terrible.
What was the description? Like when you bought it, what was the description?
No, I didn't say it was like a specific person. It's just like, hey, this is a sweet mask that someone spent a lot of time on, I guess. And they had old man masks, but I didn't want to, step on loose toes.
And we didn't let one bad Halloween, creep into two bad Halloweens.
Can't do that.
We're in costume. Show's still working.
Those jorts are making me cry.
I'll tell you what, I walked into the production meeting at game day. I had 45 different looks. They're trying to find me pants. Nothing's open yet, so let the Cavs breathe here in Memphis, Tennessee.
Buffalo, New York with Friday Night SmackDown, and now I get a chance to be amongst the incredible drunks of Memphis, Tennessee. It's been a wild 12 hours.
Right here in the middle of Beale Street, as soon as this legend showed up, the place started chanting Penny.
Our fans are incredible. We have the best fans in the world. So when you have a kid come here and see this, it sells itself. So, T-I-G-E-R-S, Tiger.
Let's just say what it is. Tennessee has stunk for a long time. They stink. This Navy team, obviously, honorable American badasses. What they got going on is incredible. But to beat the dog grumpy out of UConn has to feel good. You had one job. I don't think it is taking your guys' legs out, especially on the 6-yard line. And bam! Oh! Man down. I think he popped a hammy, possibly tore his ACL. One of the most brutal, gruesome injuries I've ever seen on a football field. I think what you do is you send it back to the main stage with a beautiful shot of Beale Street. On Beale Street.
I enjoy the fuck out of it. I have no idea what I'm talking about most of the time. The train keeps rolling. What a fucking wild, 47 hours or something.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show on Winners Wednesday.
Hell yeah.
My earbuds aren't fitting in my ears, but earlier today we talked a little college football.
Did we?
Yeah, we did. First college football playoff, rankings were released. I know AJ's livid that Ohio State wasn't number one, but that top 10 talk was presented by Twisted Tea. And with Twisted Tea, everyone knows we have Tone's Twisted Top 10 Tea.
Why?
And till Friday usually is when we do the giveaways for that. Said we're going to start today.
You have that thing upside down.
I don't know how to put it in when
it seems to be
can't focus
effective.
on it. It's affecting me just a little, but Twisted Tea is a super refreshing hard iced tea.
Hell yeah.
It tastes like real iced tea because guess what? It's made with real brewed iced tea.
Wow.
But hold on, guys. It's got a kick. That's right. 5% ABV.
What?
Perfect when you want to get a little twisted. Hell yeah. Tune in Friday for Tone's Twisted Top 10. But enter right now with hashtag PMS Twisted Tea CFB to guess what 2 teams are going to be a little twisted on Tone's Twisted Tea Top 10 on Friday.
Zeta said in the comments they should be saying that you look like Ian Rappaport from the Super Bowl.
From the Super Bowl.
That's funny. When he was
going like this.
Doing the full lean. So this is what I think we're going to do with Twisted Tea, and we appreciate Twisted Tea. Right now, if you use the hashtag PMS Twisted Tea CFB, you put the 2 teams that are definitely different from the college football playoff rankings in the top 10 to Tone's top 10 on Friday. Which 2 teams, which 2 rankings does Tone not agree with? Put those 2 teams with the hashtag PMS Twisted Tea CFB, and you could potentially be one of 5 winners of $500 from your friends at Twisted Tea. Not only the most delicious kicked tea drink.
Oh, hell yeah.
But good people who love college football and also enjoy that we do giveaways and want to get involved. Shout out to Twisted Tea. We appreciate them. Once again, 1 Tennessee, 2 Ohio State, 3 Georgia, 4 Clemson, 5 Michigan, 6 Alabama, 7 TCU, Oregon, USC, LSU round out the top 10. Which 2 rankings does Tone Diggs not agree with that he will put in the show on Friday and find out the right answer? Which 2 does he not agree with? Use the hashtag PMS Twisted Tea CFB. Do you want to give an answer right now, AJ, what your thoughts are on what Tone's thinking?
No, I do not want to give an answer right now.
Okay, don't give it away. Don't let anybody else win.
Very
You
professional.
want to win the $500, not everybody
right
else. Tone, there's 2 teams you don't like. It's not a swap thing, though, right?
No.
Oh.
So is it more than 2? We did talk about this beforehand. Tone did tell me directly. It is 2 teams that you don't agree with.
Correct.
Are they swapped ranking? They're not swapped ranking.
You want me to give that away? It's a pretty big giveaway.
Okay, it is 2 teams, though.
There's 2 teams that I think are in the wrong place.
Okay, so we will find out the answer on Friday. Once again, enter which 2 teams does Tone not agree with. You could be one of 5 winners of $500 from our friends at Twisted Tea, which use actual tea.
Yeah.
But with a little kick.
Hell yeah. 5% ABV.
You drinking Twisted Teas?
Ooh, yeah. You kidding me? I twee game every time before I go out.
Oh, really? You're a good twee mate.
I love twees. Nothing like a good twee at the end of the day.
Shout out to Twisted Tea, and also shout out to you for watching this show. That is terrible, but I hope you do enter to potentially be one of 5 winners of $500 on the Twitter, which I hope is around forever.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We all do. Ain't you right, AJ?
No matter what.
Yeah, he's not shutting it down.
Well, make a lot of changes. Will people leave? A lot of people say, if this person becomes president, I'm leaving town. They never do. A lot of people say, this person does this, we're going to leave. I don't think Twitter is capable of ending because of how important it is to basically the social media, ecosystem.
Right.
It is a very important, Twitter is a very important spot. I don't think it's going anywhere, but you got a lot of people complaining,
$8 for verification?
Come on, dude. So is everybody going to leave Twitter? We hope not.
Yeah.
But since
I'm sure they will. Everyone's leaving.
That's what everybody says, dude. No, is everybody lying? And should we never take those people serious ever again? Like, is that something we should think about too?
Perhaps.
Does that happen? I don't know if we should dive into that whole world.
I wonder what Neil Young's thinking.
Well, he's back on Spotify.
Okay, so
his music is back. Please put my music back on Spotify.
Yeah. I ain't paying fucking $8. I ain't paying.
I understand. I appreciate everybody that's saving the world. I fucking love it. But I feel like it's going to be a long, miserable life if you're going to try to do that with every human you don't agree with. Just my thoughts. I'm a stooge, sports stooge, and we just try to move forward. Hopefully you will enter to win $500 on Twitter. Now, it is time to get smarter, get better, and learn more about NFL football than we could have ever imagined learning before. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Everything DB with Darius Butler.
Oh, let's go. Mike good?
Yeah,
I'm great.
Hey, we learned you can't get too close to the board.
To the screen. All right, let's get to it.
Design flaw.
Sure. You can say that.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Worth it. Worth it. Here we go. Let's get started, man.
price, too.
Some big plays
Penthouses were worth
from week 8. Everybody remembers this play. This was a wild game, wild ending. Panthers, Falcons, PJ Walker with probably the throw of the year. Should have won this game. But we're going to watch the Falcons on defense, some things they did wrong here. Middle linebacker here, he's kind of the middle run through. You only got a 3-man rush. So you got 8 guys dropping back in coverage. But focus on this safety right here because you're going to have DJ Moore get down the field and just play it real quick and just watch him. That's the big mistake in this play is pause it. As the deep half defender, you should be deep as the deepest. At least he got influenced by this outbreaking route, which is this underneath flat defender's responsibility, and he lets DJ Moore run right past him with 23 seconds left in the game when this ball was less than 23 seconds. Actually, I think the clock was running when this ball was snapped. You see everybody kind of slows down, and nobody expects P.J. Walker to break and make this type of throw. He's throwing this ball from the minus 35, and watch where this thing lands, man. Obviously, great job by DJ Moore not giving up on the play. A dot in stride in the middle of the end zone. They are sick at this point. Obviously, they think they're about to lose the game. DJ takes off the helmet. It's a questionable penalty to some. But, you know, everybody
got to
knows
make
the
the
rule.
kick.
Everybody knows you got to make the kick. What was it, 43, 48 yards?
48 yards. Got to make it to win it, though.
Yeah.
To win it,
you got to make
that
it. That's
kick.
what you get paid to do.
You're saying he threw this from the 35?
35.
This is a 69-yard
Rolling
ball?
out to his left. So kind of similar to that ball that Kyler threw a few years ago to D-Hop. But, I mean, to make this throw, like this isn't a throw you see. I think Patrick Mahomes came out and said, hey, easily to throw of the year already. So shout out to P.J. Walker, man.
I believe I saw a stat that said it was the longest air yardage touchdown in I can't remember the year.
So how many yards?
So this is 65 to the end zone, right? So 35 to the end zone, 65-yard line. The reason why I know that is because anytime you take a punt snap, I'm looking at the little side thing. Where is our exact ball being snapped from? If I kick it to the end zone, how fucking far is this thing got to go? That's the only number you're taking in. So that's easy math. 65 to the end zone. Then it's what? That's another 4 yards into the end zone.
Jeez,
yeah.
So
Probably five. I'll say 5.
Okay, so this comes from Next Gen Stats. P.J. Walker's Hail Mary touchdown pass to DJ Moore traveled 67.6 yards in the air. The longest
I think that's bullshit. I
the
think it's longer.
longest completion by air distance in the Next Gen Stats era, which has been since 2016.
I mean, if you let that ball hit, I mean, that's what, at least 4 yards, right? He's catching that
caught
over the
it right
shoulder.
there.
Unbelievable.
That's coming
throw.
down this way.
Yeah, probably hitting the A.
I mean, I wish we would have calibrated this. I didn't know we were going to even get in this discussion, so it's nobody's fault but my own. But you start looking into the thing. Where is halfway back in the end zone? The Atlanta?
Yeah.
That's 5 yards, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
lands all. Yeah,
They're gonna give him 70, man.
yeah, fucking 70 yards. This dude just
on
threw
the
ball.
dot too.
Yeah.
And this is for you just
Rolling
tie
out to
it
his
up.
left.
Rolling out to his left
too, which is so hard to do.
So flipped his hips, was able to step into it a little bit, but it's not like he was running forward. Like this is an unbelievable throw. Great catch as well. But run it back one more time just to play it through as this deep half safety. Deep is the deepest. Anything underneath is fine. Let him catch it, tackle him in bounds, keep the clock running. You can't get influenced by this outbreaking route and let DJ Moore, of all receivers on this team, run by you.
Who do you think people were blaming on the internet for this particular fuck up, and who this is definitely not that person, or do you think the blame was probably placed?
I didn't watch. I didn't listen to this. I had the Sunday ticket on, so I don't think I had the audio on. But it's 1,000% on him. And this is a middle of the field linebacker right here playing the deep middle. So maybe it's been situations where I've been on teams where, and I think this clock was running here, but if they had a timeout, this is where you put a Randy Moss, a Kobe Fleener, or Rob Gronkowski back there, one of those type players, if you know this type of play is coming. But this wasn't necessarily a victory situation, I don't think. Still time on the clock. But you can't let that happen as a defense.
Didn't we against Atlanta? We had Kobe Fleener, I think.
Yeah, Fleener, Kobe.
In that building. We had Kobe Fleener go out on the field. We had a DB coach on the numbers. While ball's being snapped, DB coach being pulled off the field, almost got a penalty. Almost got he was like in there because Kobe. You practice it on Saturday, the deep ball, where you get the tight end back there, you get a big wide receiver who's going to help bat the ball down or whatever on a Hail Mary situation. And this is the first time we'd ever used it, I think. So this DB coach, I don't want to say his name because it's the first time I'd mentioned his name on the show, and it shouldn't be just.
Sure.
Hey, big dumb dipshit move.
Yeah,
but it kind of was. I mean, he was on the numbers telling Kobe where to go or whatever. Ball's being snapped. He's fucking getting dragged. Like, they're actually, like, dragging this man who's, like, probably 55, 60 years old, backwards off the field.
Panicking.
Ball, full oh, shit. Ball lands 7 yards short, I think, doesn't make it to the end zone.
Matt Ryan.
15-yarder, though.
Obviously.
It was Matt Ryan, but
it was
stressful situation
I think
for
you
coaches.
told the story actually about that pass. Before.
That was actually when I thought
the first
to myself,
read.
Hey.
And the thing about these Hail Mary plays, we go through them on Saturdays in the mock game, but we never really do this live in practice. I've probably seen it one time live in practice, and that was probably this last preseason camp. So, Big time play right here.
Why don't they have another DB in back there instead of putting a linebacker back there?
I don't think this was a situation, if I'm correct, that they could substitute, because usually you have a victory, like personnel grouping, like, hey, this is a victory, we're going to seal the victory. These are the guys we're trotting out. But this, if you're a middle linebacker and in cover 2, that is your responsibility to run and take the deep middle route. He just lined up back there. But yeah, you ultimately want a guy with ball skills back there to knock this down or pick it off.
AJ, why is the Mike linebacker fucking it all up?
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough. This ball is wide, too, for your middle reader to be there. He's there, but you got to stay deeper the whole time. Like, do you think this route for DJ, like, it looked like he slowed down. That's what kind of, he, like, hesitated a little bit at the top. Like, was this originally what he was supposed to do, you think?
Man, I think so, because you got him. It's kind of like the outside flood. You got the low out, you got the first level out, you got the second level out, and then he's just kind of usually a runoff guy, right? But they're trying to hit one of those other ones, get a closer shot to the end zone. Nobody's expecting a 70-yard pass from PJ Walker in this situation.
Okay, so you're saying
you got to stay deep as the deepest though, as the deep half.
That's
defender.
clear out as that person's coming here and this person's coming here, and they're trying to get the ball to the fucking sideline, stop the clock.
Yep, exactly. I don't think they had any timeouts. So he's obviously playing this high to low, so we'll give up that one, even if he gets out of bounds. Now they're on the 50, got a couple more snaps. Don't want to give this one up, but you damn sure can't give this one up, right? And DJ Moore, I don't think he thinks he's getting the ball at this point until he sees the ball right now, like, oh shit. Let me go track it, and makes an unbelievable play. Obviously, he's juiced, he's amped, takes his helmet off, and then the kicker misses. That field goal and another field goal.
Yeah, you can't take the helmet off, obviously. Let's not make a habit out of it. But if you just so happen to be on a receiving end of a 70-yard fucking bomb against a division opponent when everybody's saying your team's quitting, and you get a little bit excited, kicker's got to make the kick.
Yeah.
But I wonder if DJ, as he's running, going, holy fuck, it's still
Still
going.
going.
What a throw.
You know, like still go. Because as you're trying to judge, like, well, it can't be that much further. Holy shit. I would like to hear his thoughts on it. Incredible throw, PJ. Congrats.
What, PJ?
PJ's had success everywhere he's played.
Yep. He'll be in the league for a long time. Second play. Did we get the second one in? We did. Okay, so Miami Dolphins against Fox's Detroit Lions. I could have made the whole reel about the Lions in tones.
Hell yeah.
Steelers too, but
being good.
We'll see Tua right here. Lions actually fired their DB coach after this game.
Oh no.
Just really bad communication. This is the 3rd and 6. Lions are up 14 at this point. You got Tyreek Hill motion over, Okuda's motion over with them. So at this final formation, you're gonna have a 3-by-1 set, right? Tight ends backside, Gesicki, and then you got Waddle, Hill, and then Sherfield up here. So you got 3 receivers up here. And what the Lions do here is they actually double team both Waddle and Tyreek Hill. So it's 3rd and 6. We're going double-double, all right? So I believe this defender and that defender are going to double Waddle. This defender and these 2 defenders will double Hill. So
what is so funny? Why you?
So now you have 4. No, because I'm saying you have 4 DBs on 2 receivers. So you would expect for at least these 2 guys to be taken out of the formation. But watch as this play develops. It's going to be a switch release fade, and it's still going to be a wide, like, pause this right here. Like, if you have 2 double teams, there's no way a guy can be that open, especially a speed guy here. So
it's the Lions D-Bud, though.
I understand that, but this is really bad ball. 3rd down, money down. Obviously, Tua makes an accurate.
Can you run it from the beginning?
But like, what are we doing here?
So I think AJ, I'll let you ask because I think you're asking the same thing as me, and I'll just be ready to highlight it.
Is he trying to disguise the double? What's he doing, DB?
I think here he's like, all right, I'm going to take away this crosser, right? Because that's a really tough route, and they do a lot of that. But so he's going to be outside leverage. I'm going to be inside leverage on this guy. And then when you got Tyreek here, you got these 2 guys here. So I believe that's what he's doing, but, I mean, and I think he does it.
So this guy can't let him outside, right?
At all. That's what I was just about to say. You have to have very strong leverage on your outside hand from this guy, and then you got to be ready to help. Pause. So, like, this guy, Tyreek Hill, he doesn't even have to really set a pick. It's kind of a natural pick almost, but he's running back from the beginning. You'll see Waddle's patient off the line, knowing, like, soon as Tyreek clears out, I know I'm going to be in a good situation right here.
That DB's got to slide. He's got to slide outside leverage at the snap, doesn't he?
He's got to be outside leverage.
Pre-snap.
Yep, out the snap. Especially with other bodies out here that can potentially pick you, because you got to
do it pre-snap.
You want to at least be able to try to use your help. So this is bad execution.
Got a triple team.
Horrible execution.
Oh, he's no look at that. He took a step inside, but
look at
you
it.
see run it back, Pat.
You should
run it back. He was almost outside.
Like you got to be.
If you run,
you got to be like you got to be lined up. Your left shoulder got to be the inside of that one. Like you should be fully out here, because you know you have a guy on the snap coming to help you inside out. So once he does this outside release, but it's bad ball. Like Foxy said, it's the Lions.
The amount of third and longs they converted was unbelievable. It had to be a record.
Do you think firing the DB coach, does that the same thing apply like with an interim guy coming in, or like does their secondary just fucking stink and doesn't
That
matter
seems
what
like
they're gonna
terrible
do?
scheme there, right? That's a bad plan.
It's a good idea.
Oh, in
horrible
theory.
execution,
In
right?
theory.
Because all right, you calling this in the huddle. This play comes in. All right, we're going double. You know, we're doubling 17, we're doubling 10. We know that, but now the players got to figure it out from the play call to the alignment. Where are these guys aligned? You saw Tyreek Hill. He lined up over here. Then he motioned across. So how are we going to double it? It's going to be I'll be low, you be high. Are we going to be in and out? So now those 4 DBs got to be on the same page on how we're going to cover these 2 wide receivers. So like I said, as AJ pointed out, you got to get outside. Obviously he knows his help is in there. And then here I would try to get up in the press and be up underneath. But they actually do a somewhat decent job of running back. Even with Tyreek Hill, he even beats the leverage of the guy that's inside. So you're inside of Tyreek Hill, right, Paul? So Okuda's doing a decent job of staying outside leverage. But if Tua lets this play develop and throws it to Hill, which he doesn't have to because Waddle's wide fucking open, Hill is going to cross his face too. So it's poor execution. Let it play, yeah. So if Tyreek Hill's still running, he's going to outrun that. So it's bad.
33 also trips over the 20-yard line too.
Bad execution, horrible. I mean, he wasn't fucking getting there.
So is this on? That's why the DB coach got fired, because it's like, hey, the technique is just so poor.
It's bad. It's horrible. The communication. He makes that call into the players, and then they got to figure it out. From the huddle.
You think the Lions will turn it around this year?
Yeah, the Lions will get back.
Yeah, hell yeah. Let's go. They're going to beat the Packers.
Absolutely not. This is
How about them trading T.J. Hawkinson?
It's bad, man. Second best receiving threat, but young player. You would think you want to build around him. It's tough, man.
In the division.
I was about to say, and then in the division, I'm excited to see what the Vikings can do with another weapon like that, though, on offense. Great running game, great receivers, and now you got one of the better young tight ends in the game right here.
Lions the worst team you've ever seen in your life, or?
It's a good question.
How old are you?
36. They've been pretty shitty.
They're not as bad. They're not as bad as the 0-16 team led by Dan Orshlovsky.
Damn, Dan.
Dan.
You don't deserve that, Dan.
Well, yeah, but Dan's getting into baseball now.
What?
So
we did baseball in the last hour.
Did you see Dan giving his Flyers to Schmaltzy last night?
No.
What happened?
Man,
What's going on?
What are you talking about?
He just showed me one of the coolest things I've ever seen on a baseball field in the history of my life.
Dan Orlovsky did?
Yeah, he did.
What was that?
Freaking unbelievable. So fucking cool, man.
So what?
I just love.
Grow the fudge up.
I'm
dude.
getting. I will.
Grow
Like
the
Zach
fudge
Wilson.
up, man.
What did he do?
He's just fucking lying. Fudging, sorry. He's fudging lying. And we didn't know that until he started mocking how these people speak. It's unbelievable. I thought I missed something with Dan.
Oh, no,
I
no,
love
no.
everything Dan does.
He's not lying.
I'm being serious.
Yeah, Dan did have a video on Twitter about, John Smoltz just being so fudging good at his job. Listen to this. Just listen to this. Wait on the breaking ball. This is a guy who's prepared. This is so fudging cool.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Watch the video.
It's awesome.
AJ, why are you saying no? What
He's giving John Smoltz. He's
Smoltz is
giving
good at
John
what he
Smoltz
does.
props. I support Dane propping up another broadcast.
So do we.
Exactly.
Not everybody on this stage feels that way, though. Isn't that right?
I feel that way. I brought it up because I wanted to give Dan his Flyers for giving his Flyers to Smoltzy.
You forced it in because you wanted to have
hey,
this whole discussion.
Foxy brought up Orlovsky.
Yeah.
First thing that popped in my
Sorry,
head,
Dan.
boom, making me remember how much I love baseball.
I don't love baseball as much as I love everything DB, and I like this Eagles team a lot, too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So
What was that all about?
Hey.
Dan, this guy played college football with him.
Yeah, well, I mean, D-Butt knows. Orlovsky's the fucking... Holy shoot. I am so sorry. I did not mean to say that.
The authority on... I like Dan. Dan, we'll get to play it from a game he called this past weekend across the pond. But Jalen Hurts, man.
We love Dan.
Yeah, he's doing everything good this year.
We love you, Dan.
Obviously... Huge day, him connecting to A.J. Brown and State. I think this was the second of the 3 touchdowns they connected on. Pre-snap, I think, rewind it to the earliest point. All right, he might have cut this out. So before this, he read the pressure look, right? And then brought the tight end back to a protection set. Read, obviously, single high, so he knows he's going to have one-on-ones on the outside. We had a clip of him doing this a few weeks back. I think it was against the Commanders. Jalen Hurts, and from the pocket, obviously you're making a read. You check the protection against what is pressure, and then you got your guy one-on-one. Now, rewind this. Witherspoon does a terrible job, I believe, at the beginning. If you're going to line up in a press against a receiver, you can't make it routes on air. Like, you have to disrupt that timing at some point, because when they start off practice with pat and go, pre-game, this is what they're doing. Let it play. They're dropping back. A.J. Brown's going to be in a spot, and Hurts is going to put it.
Doesn't even get touched.
In the bucket. Doesn't touch him from the entire time. Run it back again. We're going to look at Minka in the middle of field safety, who you got one-on-ones on the outside, right? You got Devontae Smith. You got Skinny Batman. You got Swole Batman up here. He's obviously leaning to 11. At this point, you probably want to lean a little bit more, and maybe you get there. But this is a tough job on him, because you allow this receiver to run that red line that's on every practice field, hold that line, and then Jalen Hurts drops an absolute dot in the bucket, A.J. Brown. So, I mean, that's and if you play this from the back copy, if you remember this, the last time we saw Jalen Hurts do this, man. So he's been doing this all year. He's been consistent. Eagles have obviously done a great job protecting him up front, picking up this pressure look. And this is you can't run down there and hand it to him. Boop. Oh, so outside hands, this is exactly where the receiver wants the ball. Like, it's like you can't throw a better ball than that. You got to lean over a little bit more. Minka was there, I believe, on the first one. He kind of caught it over Fitzpatrick in the end zone. The last 2 were very similar to this one. So A.J. Brown had a day, and Jalen Hurts is doing his thing this year.
What's going on in Pittsburgh? I thought the defense was always the defense. They don't even get a hands on a guy.
Steel curtain.
Well, I assume
they're not even getting a hand on the guy.
I assume he thought Jalen Hurts wouldn't be able to make that throw.
Shouldn't. Not at this point.
Not good. Watch the film.
Let's watch film.
Watch the film. Let's get to that. Let's fly through these. Let's fly through them. All right. C-Mac obviously had a huge day. Throwing touchdown, catching touchdown, rushing touchdown. Now defensively, run it back. Defensively, on defense, you have primary run defenders, and then you got secondary run defenders. And as secondary run defenders, unless your receiver is blocking you, if you're in a deep half, you never have run responsibility. You're in the deep third, same thing, unless your guy's, attached or close to the core, and he crack blocks or something like that, and then you have to crack replace. But when you're in these positions, we can highlight him. You don't have a run responsibility. And even though this is a pass, this is a lateral pass that is still behind the line of scrimmage, you can't react to that from back here. You'll see, let it play. So he reacts to this. The corner reacts as well, which the corner I don't think should be reacting either. I believe this is quarters. A receiver, this is almost like a D lineman when you run past the screen. A receiver is never going to run by you like this on the play if with a guy in the backfield. So your antenna should go up. Your antennas obviously should go up, and it shouldn't even be a read for you, because no one, once again, deep half defender, deep as the deepest. So great execution by the 49ers. Great throw by C-Mac, but defensively, you cannot have this.
Can you guys tell from back if that's a lateral or not a lateral? That's a tough thing, because we have that suite now at those games. It's really hard to see who's moving forward, who's moving back, how far they're moving it. Is that something you can tell, or you just got to be disciplined?
Not really, but that's why you got to read your keys. Once again, the receiver's never going to run by you, when you're blocking. So something should go off. Something is abnormal that Ayuk is not going to, as a corner. You see me reacting as oh shit, I got a great reaction on this play. I'm gonna go make a tackle on this guy that's supposed to stalk block me, just lets me run right by.
I mean, look at it. I mean, he's full sprint.
Yeah. And then you can, for me, body language, we always look, you talked about it earlier with baseball, like we're always looking at body language. Like, rewind this. It's Christian McCaffrey. When Christian McCaffrey catches the ball, he ain't like, this ain't how he runs with the ball. You know what I mean? So once again, I feel like Ramsey was he was in a great position, setting the edge on Kittle. He was going to make a play, but This corner should not be here, and obviously this safety should not be here. So great execution by the 49ers, great throw, great play by Ayuk, but defensively you absolutely cannot have that. Bad eyes, and continuing with bad eyes, Jalen Hurts will have a play right here, fake screen. Pause it, don't play it yet. Right now this is man-to-man coverage, right? But for some reason we have a safety on a receiver, and we got a corner on a tight end. So I don't know if these guys just got misaligned. Maybe it's a
because Goddard.
What's that?
It's because Goddard's the better receiver.
This is Zach Pascal, former Colt.
Yeah, he was
Came
really
over
good for the
Sirianni.
Colts.
Yeah, he was. And then we got Goddard out here.
All he
but
did was catch touchdowns.
That's it,
Remember
yeah.
Chris Ballard said that.
Yeah.
Guy fucking got another one.
Once again, we got single high out here. We're gonna fake this screen right here to Goddard, which is that's his play. It's my guy. He runs the screen. I go up and tackle it. You should have nothing.
no.
To do. Nobody's gonna block you.
no.
So
Now
I mean,
that throw, I expect Jalen Hurts to make.
he didn't, he didn't have to pump fake. He didn't have to do anything here. This is
Bowley could have scored this.
I don't know.
This
if
is
Cabola's
Pascal's
getting
touchdown.
it.
This is all Pascal does.
Score TDs, baby.
That's literally what Chris Ballard said. Nobody talks about Pascal. All the fucking guy does is catch touchdowns. Said it on the show.
Yeah.
He really did.
He did.
Ballard, do you want to keep him around then, or what do you? Any thoughts?
We got pressure here. You got to have eye discipline, obviously there, and that's bad ball. So see a little, see a lot is what one of my coaches used to say. Just read your keys. That's your guy. That's the guy you line up in front of. If he's going to block you, beat the block and make a tackle. But you shouldn't be looking and seeing one and breaking on one running this route.
So we got no hands on a guy. Okay,
Yep.
go route for A.J. Brown, the
Yep.
guy that you're spying. So you guys have recognized is probably the bigger threat on the entire team.
Deep post safeties leaning to his side. Yep.
So you've acknowledged that he is the guy that we're going to kind of look at as opposed to Devontae or anybody else. No hands on him at all. This one, isn't this like an easy switch that happens like a lot of plays if
No.
a tight end goes outside? Isn't
No,
it-
not on this one.
No, why not? Because he's one?
You wouldn't switch it.
You wouldn't-
You're not. You're locked. It's a man-to-man call.
Oh,
Like-
you mean pre-snap, Pat? You
Yeah.
mean line up?
I'm talking about
Oh,
him
okay.
move this way, him move this
Oh, you saying alignment-wise?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
One-
that
one- one
happens
thousand-
all
yeah.
the fucking time.
If it's man-to-man, if they call man-to-man in the huddle, you find your guy, you find the receivers out of the huddle, you line up across from them. Same thing for safeties, linebackers, whoever you guard. You know, based on the call, hey, if I'm a linebacker, I got a running back on this call, or I have a tight end on this call. If you go empty, maybe it's something that switches up. But this should be a good alignment unless it's a call with man principles, but zone alignments, which there are some of those. Usually you see them more in the red zone. But I think this is a man-to-man call. But you got a corner on the tight end he's playing him pretty tight. So he's not afraid of, obviously, him running by him. But this is your guy. I don't care what the call is, fire zone, man, deep third. This is your guy. This is number 2, vertical. So if he blocks you, you beat the block, you make a tackle.
I think
You don't give this up.
I think I saw Stephon Gilmore and Shaq Leonard do this. 15 yards in front of me standing on Sunday, and that defense was out of sorts. But
Our defense, Colts defense?
yeah, there were some things that happened. I mean, there was a wide open. Did you get that? It could have been on here, I assume. There was a whole. It was like Shaq's first play. He ends up covering some of it. They come in the whole thing. But Shaq runs out. He literally switched. They switched. The safety and the corner just switched like immediately before the ball's up. I'm going to take the wide receiver. You're going to take the tight end. Like, is this like, what the fuck's going on in Pittsburgh? This is not a normal thing for
Steelers do not care. They will cover a slot receiver with a D lineman. They've done it for years. They never switch. It never happens for some reason.
And they've been good, so I guess it shouldn't matter. But I'm just saying, no hands, no switch. It's like
They leave T.J. Watt out there all the time on
What?
slot receivers, and it's been a problem for years.
Cam Sutton covers tight ends quite a bit, but who knows?
What the hell's going on over
This
there?
is bad.
I'm saying it seems like it's not good. Like, this seems like bad football.
I think they were just, very aggressive. They wanted to get the ball, and
Bad play, though. Simple.
When did they want to get the ball? After a
Right there.
kickoff?
No, right there.
After a touchdown?
Right there.
Come on, guys.
When did they want the ball
They
back?
thought Goddard was getting the ball.
Well, isn't the Steelers' defense is like, that's the thing? Like,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Steelers' defense is the thing.
Used to
fall back on it.
What's going on, AJ? Are they fucking dead over there, dude?
I don't know. I mean, as Tone said, they thought Goddard was getting the ball. That's kind of how football goes. They're trying to show you one thing and give you another.
They're trying to get the ball.
So this is the next play. This is how you're supposed to play this. So same thing down here.
Jeez.
Both sides.
So they run the same play, and now a lot of people say Pickens, this should have been a catch. This was a good, accurate ball, great catch from him. But this is it's simple. Responsibility. This is my guy. He's going here. He's faking the screen. It's just matching your guy once again. Simple defense, simple football, good ball
catch.
placement, good catch. Did he get his feet in?
Yes.
They ruled him out. So no, it didn't. But this is how you're supposed to play this from a structural standpoint as a defense. So if you run it back to the beginning, so this guy, he almost, he comes down aggressively, but he ends up on 3. He stays on 2, obviously, and then Slay takes care of his business out here.
Are they going to miss Claypool at all, would you say?
I think so. I mean, I think they miss him. I think, Bears, they surprised me giving up a second for him.
Basically, at first, too. It's their own second.
Yeah, that surprised me. But maybe he goes out there and flourishes with Justin Fields.
Hell yeah. He didn't enjoy being traded. He said it was one of the worst days of his life. Said hello to everybody. See Cam Hayward runs the card table? That's what I saw out of those photos. Mm-hmm. Cam Hayward sitting there at the card table. He gave a piece. He did something at the cafeteria, probably he sits with for food, and then he did the meeting room, and he said it was his last day there. Farewell to all the boys or whatever.
Wow. It's tough getting traded.
Middle of the season.
Yeah, it's tough getting traded, get cut, We'll see, though.
They're not getting hands on anybody on go routes.
No, they're not.
That's
tough. We'll see how it goes. These Eagles, man. And then this next play was actually sent in from Nick.
Hell of a play.
And I mean, if you just watch Slay down here, we can fly through this play, but just watch Slay literally run this route for Johnson. And he identified, something I said a few weeks ago, Slay makes the cornerback position look easy. I think it's the most difficult position on the field, especially defensively. But I think, rewind this, he sees the play action, so he obviously understands that the boot is coming, and the number one route off a boot is a comeback route. So you see how long his eyes are in the backfield, right? Let it play a couple more frames. His eyes are still in the backfield, still in the backfield, still in the backfield. Now, after the fake is drawn out, now his eyes come back on the receiver. And now he knows, okay, it's a certain break. As a corner, receivers, it's a break area about that 5 to 7 yards. And then as you get down the field, depending on the offense, some offenses run, 14-yard comeback, some run 18, some run 20. So he knows the break area and boom, foot in the ground. He's not even out his break. He gets out. He literally beats him to the spot, drops the pick. 18 almost catches it, but unbelievable play. Thank you for sending this one in, Nick.
Sure thing, D-Butt.
Just another guy the Lions traded away.
Yep.
Yeah, thank God. Is Slay one of the smartest corners, you say? Is that why he makes it look easy?
Yeah, because obviously he's still, he's older, and usually as you get older at that position, the game slows down for you mentally, but physically you slow down as well. So Slay has been able to take care of his body and still be, he can still run with everybody. He can still be physical at the line of scrimmage. But when you're athletic and talented like that physically, and you can play the game like this from a mind, like how, Brady's still playing his 40s as a quarterback, that's like a coach out there under center. He's seeing everything. He's calling coverages out, carrying out a play action. And that's kind of what you're seeing with how Slay is playing ball this year.
Watching his head go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. All right. And then it's a young quarterback too. So it's not it's you facing young quarterbacks, you expect a more simple, basic game. Run that back one more time. I just want to
coordinator.
Just watch the entire secondary. You saw Detroit. Just watch how everybody pause it. So this is boot, and just everybody's exactly where it's supposed to be. I'm here. I'm matched here. I'm moving in the post. And this is a simple thing. This is a routine thing, but this is a play where you're going to look on the defense. Nobody's got an ME. Nobody's got an MA. And those are plays you want. He's coming out. He's doing his response. Everybody's where they're supposed to be. And it's, it shows up when it shows up.
Such a basic play. It's almost like anyone could cover it.
Thank you, man.
I did draw this up in the virtual reality football game.
Mm-hmm.
Just a couple. Everybody just moved.
That dude's going to be open against a lot of corners. Slay. Slay's his patience is unbelievable too. He has so much confidence in himself. It's impressive.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett doesn't throw a catchable ball though. That's what we just learned.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
A little tough.
Steelers are going to win 7 straight after the bye week. Don't worry about it.
Sweet.
Nice.
I like the optimism.
You're on to the draft yesterday. I'm kind of pumped to hear that.
Yeah, you're back. What'd you do? You laid that head down on the pillow last night and said, "You can't give up on Steelers just yet."
They're going to win 7 straight after the bye week.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Let's go, Tone. Let's go,
You know what,
Tone.
If they do that, Tone, me, Ty, Connor, I'll give you $1,000.
Sure.
I'm good. I don't need it.
A couple thousand.
I don't want it.
If they don't, We think you
return the favor.
We think you
Send it
donate
right
to the
back.
Thunderdome. Just buy something nice
I don't
for
want
the
it.
Thunderdome.
Doesn't need it.
Oh, yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
what are you talking about? The walls are empty.
There's
Tony.
new seats. Come on.
A Paul Mall jersey.
How much you believe? Signed, autographed, Paul
Yeah.
Mall jersey.
I don't want it.
All right.
No, yeah, you get it for the office.
Hey, what we just learned? That was a fugazi.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? At all.
7 in a row.
Full of shit. Here we got a 3rd and 7. This is, I think, a 1-point game right here at this point, third quarter. And once again, just simple executions, man-to-man coverage. Now, you got a combo, right? You got a stack. So these two guys, obviously, you're in and out at Hufanga. He pops on film week in, week out. But simple coverage matches, handle the stack. Everybody's where they're supposed to be. In upfield, you'll see it from the tight copy. Fred Warner gets home. Great stunt up front. And this was kind of the story the rest of this game. And this has kind of been the story when these two teams face each other. But running back, you'll see from the D lineman, 94, 95. Watch how they both cross-face, beat to the leverage. I'm sure you guys are experts in the trenches now with AQ. They're going to cross-face, and Fred Warner's going to come around tight and get. And obviously Stafford has nowhere to go with this ball. Back can't step up.
Everybody's in the same. This is when the pass rush and the coverage is the same thing.
Yep.
I think Peyton was talking about it on Monday Night Manning. Oh, it was a coverage sack right there. That was a coverage sack.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was, I forget who was talking about it. But it's like Jared Allen told us, you're just racing against a clock, basically, 2.5 seconds. Is that all you guys are basically trying to hold on for? Is there a timing in the corner's head? Like, is there a discussion between the defensive players? Like,
So you run it back from the wide, actually?
yes.
So 3rd and 7, you understand obviously the opponents you're facing. All right, are they a sticks team? This is Cooper Kupp right here. So 3rd and 7, Jimmy Ward's sitting right at the sticks, and he knows a pressure is coming. So you know it's not a 4-man rush, it's not a 3-man rush. You know if you got that, it's a chance that the quarterback's gonna have some time. With this pressure, you got these guys lined up out here, and they know the rush is coming. You know you can kind of sit and play these sticks a little more aggressively, especially if they're a sticks team like the Rams are. So you watch Jimmy Ward here. So it's really nowhere for Stafford to go with this ball quickly. So pause it. So once he runs his route, both of these guys are matched up. Allen Robinson's going to push away late, but it's way too late at this point.
And
so
the DBs know that there's a.
They know.
We have a stunt in the game happening where
Yep.
this ball has to come out
It's
quick.
gotta come out,
And
yeah.
if not, they're going to be sacked. And if they're not sacked, they fucking didn't do their job.
Yep, and Peyton was talking about it on Monday night. It was back-to-back plays. The Bengals ran cover 0. I think it was 2nd and 12, 3rd and 12, and they didn't have a plan for it pre-snap. You know, and the corner was just sitting off at like 6-7 yards because he's certain blitzes where if we're sending one more than they got, the ball's got to come out quick. It's only 2 routes you can run basically: a slant, or a fade. And if that's not the route you're coming, so sticky matches at the top of the drop. So that's front end.
That's
and
why
back
Von
end
Miller gets
working
$160 million
in
or
unison.
whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. Because the defense who gets Tre'Davious White, who's back practicing, they said he's still day to day. He might not be playing this weekend. We shall see or whatever for the Buffalo Bills. But you get Von Miller in there with the back end that they have, they can just kind of work off each other, and everybody's pretty much fucked.
Yeah. Uh-oh. If that front end and back end is tied together, and so Buffalo, what they do is they get after the passer with 4. So even when you're just rushing 4, you know it's a good chance 40 or 50 is getting home, which is crazy. Then on the second level, Matt Milano.
You have 7 dudes.
Yeah, and then Matt Milano has been playing really, really well at that linebacker position and coverage. So
AJ, that's why having good roster is a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it does help to have really good players.
Yeah, it is a benefit. It is a benefit at key positions, huh, AJ?
Absolutely. Fun to watch. Fred Warner, great little blitz there, too. That's like what Deion Jones got home with the Cleveland game, too.
Yeah, Monday. A lot of good. So this one's is my favorite coverage. Cover 1 robber. So
Is this our first London film?
It might be.
No, we had Honey Badger got a pick over there.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
We're an international show.
Yeah.
Hey, London, we're in your town here. Ain't that right? Hello.
Hello. Tea and crumpets.
Hey, look at my teeth.
Oh,
The new king has fat fingers.
doesn't he?
So
Doesn't he?
Their record won't show, but this has been.
It's a great game, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Wasn't it?
One of the best defenses in the league this year.
Oi!
Broncos.
It is, isn't it?
That's rubbish. Great goals.
It is.
One of them doesn't sweat, I know. One of the Royals.
You see the mechanics here. This is 143.
You got a problem, don't you?
Yeah.
What's that,
Watch
Hawk?
your mouth.
AJ.
Darius, you got no shot here. Okay,
Sorry,
D-Bud, you had no shot, dude. I mean, once we have to unload all of our English stuff, it is just.
That's up there with what we know about Dan Jones. Really.
Yeah. Well, and Dan Snyder.
Yep.
True.
Anyways.
And Brett Favre.
Let's get back to London.
Brett
Favre really did it to them poors. It was like our ancestors.
Yeah.
It was really like what we
Brett
did.
Favre does what the royal family's been doing for years.
Yes.
They're pissing on the poor, you know.
Generations.
He took all his shillings.
Is Brett a knight? Sorry.
Really does.
We have English fans.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys following along.
Love you guys.
Love you, England.
Love you.
Thanks for the country.
Whoa.
Jeez.
Sorry. They fucking lost it. We fucking took it.
Well, and then if you want to go deeper, what you guys did to get land back? Yeah. Questionable.
India really hates you.
Not just India. Actually, a lot of countries.
What?
You remember what they were saying about the Queen when she passed?
On Twitter?
Yeah.
Loud. Isn't it?
It's coming
Wasn't
home.
good, was it?
Like brilliant.
Once again, we love England. We are just doing all the things we have heard and know about your great country.
That's right.
Now, there was an American football game the PAFL put together in London Sunday morning. Mr. Unlimited played against Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. DB, what did we miss in that we should have been looking for?
Got a big win. And this defense been balling all year. And once again, you see the Lions, you see Pittsburgh, you see simple things just fucked up. This is a 2-minute situation, 1:43 left in the clock. Jacksonville needed a touchdown. And they come out and play one robber. K'Wan Williams had an unbelievable day this day. But you got the robber here, Kareem Jackson. Cover one robber. So everyone's man-to-man, outside leverage. He's outside leverage. Everybody's out. Patrick, he can do whatever he wants to do out there. Outside leverage, use the robber help. And actually, you'll see, before we get to the throw, kind of how they pass this off. Let it play.
Yep.
So, boom, pause it. So, once again, he's outside leverage on this tight end. He knows he has a robber. He sees the crosser coming. They're actually able to sort this all out. He should be outside leverage as well. Trevor Lawrence makes a horrible throw as far as ball placement. He makes a great pick with the cast on his hands to seal this game. So K'Wan Williams to seal this game. He was a great slot corner San Fran before he came over. But this is a big-time play. Justin Simmons had another big-time interception on the goal line earlier in this game. But great execution on the back end. Obviously a great play to end this game and get that big win for the Broncos. And is Mr. Unlimited down here on the sideline?
Oh, I don't know. Let's get back. It's definitely fine.
He yelled ball.
Pass.
Yep.
I heard him. Can you hit ball?
Ball.
Pass.
Pass.
Ball. He better be. What if he isn't?
Where is it? No.
Oh, there he is. Bottom right.
See?
Thank you, Jesus.
Where is it?
A little closer. Yeah, right there.
Right here?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, he is
Just
there.
yelled it.
Did you guys yell anything when you picked it off?
Ski!
Nice.
There we go.
Nice.
But yeah, great play to start Sunday off. This is the game that Orslowski was on.
And he did great. He did great.
Yeah,
Just like you did, DB. Thank you so much, Darius.
Thank you, D-Bud.
All right, D-Bud, it's already set up, and this is how we're going to end today's
shit.
show. Not only did we get smarter, and congrats to all of the corners that were either spotlighted or low-lighted on Everything DB, because you're either getting better or getting showcased for how damn good you did.
Oh, yeah.
AJ Hawk, hell of a show out of you today. I do miss that creep mask every once in a while.
Yeah, truly.
Toxic Table did a fantastic job. Ton Diggs, I can't wait to watch Hammer Down with you and Miami Dolphins beat reporter Kyle Cathcart, Gumpy. Boys in the back, great work today on this beautiful winter Wednesday. Big shout out to Reese Davis joining us in the first hour, breaking down the college football playoff top 25 with us. He's incredible at what he does. Big thanks to Zach Kiefer, Ron Johnson, and David Lombardi joining us alongside Kyle Cathcart. And big thanks to Darius Butler for everything DB. Today's been a hell of a fucking Wednesday out of nowhere.
Here we go.
This is a Wednesday out of nowhere. Did not expect this show to be the way it was today. We're very thankful for everybody that watches. We will obviously be back manana as the PAFL has a Thursday evening matchup that we will definitely be breaking down from all different angles. What's the angle? What's the angle in London town? The angle here is if Darius can go 3 of 5 from the top of the key here with an NBA 3. We will give 10 people who randomly retweet this $500. Now, you not only have to retweet this, but you also have to reply saying something nice to somebody, okay? Let's put a little bit more positive juices into the air into Twitter, and also put your cash tag in there so we can pay you on Cash App efficiently. D-Butt missed 5 straight putts earlier in the show to give away some money.
Sorry, guys.
How will he fare shooting NBA 3s on this Winter Wednesday with CFO Phil looming?
I can feel him right. I can feel him right there.
Fill him.
There is one person that does not want you to win, and that's CFO Phil. CFO Phil celebrated the brick from the corner of the office.
Bang.
Oh! No. We'll have to get hot.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. 2 out of 5, right?
Yeah, drain these 2.
You drain these last 2 on this Winter Wednesday. We will
Look
certainly.
at this guy. Here, Phil.
Phil is not. Yeah, Phil is living the best life of all time.
That's amazing.
Unbelievable.
Oh, my God. Oh, you got robbed.
Jesus Christ.
Is the hoop the same?
Oh!
Yeah, loosen that rim up. Someone go hang on it.
Did Phil bribe D-Butt?
I don't know. I would never. You're saying.
I never do to people like that.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's quite a slanderous.
Phil might have fucked with the rims, though.
That would be smart.
That is a meme.
Nah, I just think today, guys.
What, dude? Don't you ever say
Oh,
that.
come on. You can dunk
You don't
still.
stink ever, dude.
That jumpsuit's sick, though.
Yeah, you
Dunk.
did great. Everything DB was awesome.
Yeah.
5 people for a dunk?
Hell yeah.
Cold.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's the high rim, too, right?
Yeah,
Well,
actually.
Or they fixed it.
we appreciate the people that fixed it. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Tomorrow, Darius.
All right, sorry, people.
I don't want you missing a dunk on this day. You missed 5 putts.
Nah,
you missed
I
5
missed a
threes.
fucking dunk.
Can't have you missing a dunk. This is a guy looking out for a guy right now.
Friends being friends.
What, maybe like Mike and drill if he makes like 4 in a row?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be good. Just a bunch of layups.
Debo, what do you think happened today? What do you think happened?
Finger roll?
What do you think it was?
I think it's Phil.
He is putting a little bit of
Phil,
a.
look at him.
Kind of a freak.
I mean, he is.
Like the Grim Reaper over there.
There he is.
There it is.
There he
Easy.
is. Oh, I'm getting out of here.
Okay.
It's all fun and games.
Good to see you, Phil.
Phil says.
Good to see you.
We can see through the curtain, pal. You're still walking.
We can see
We
you
got
still.
eyes on you.
We see you.
Over there in the.
We
in
see
the
you.
think tank.
Drinking your cup of Joe, we see you.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Paffle Thursday. D-Butt will win. People. Oh, you can still win today. Hashtag PMS Twisted T CFB.
Boom.
What are the 2 rankings that were wrong on the college football playoff rankings that officially came out last night in Tone Diggs' eyes? We'll get the right answer on Friday.
Yeah.
Okay? So you can enter that. 5 people win $500 thanks to our friends at Twisted Tea, which is actual tea with
5% ABV in case you want to get a little twisted.
wow, a kick.
Yeah.
Shout out to Twisted Tea. Shout out to you. We'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye. Hammer Dahn is in 15 minutes. Say something nice to somebody. It's a good thing to do. Goodbye. Bye.